Oui, mais ça va pas, moi, là. Anissé, les blancs. Merci beaucoup. Encore la magie. Et puis, il y a des démons. Maïne, puis, il y a des démons. C'est un j'ai été bien, des samés, on est vraiment à côté. Et pas pour faire de péou, de bois à Salo. Et dans le fait, il y a un peu de tu prends, on dit que il y a des manouons. Oui, oui, oui. Nyobe money kayo. Oye boy de Miami. Mon papa connaît bon firme. Merci beaucoup. Et la voyez, aïe voyez. Et la personne se voit. Le très ancien Yves Kane, à Seigneur Okaï. Le grand frère Oula Michael. Allons seulement. De voyez, mais. Et la somme, non, de voyez, mais. Classez ma parole, de voyez, mais. Luasa umagwata ewe ime Panoche manuata ewe ime Lawodi makuata ewe ime Yete Florent Wey beson te ekpe Nyanya epe kwa shande wibedi One chichie Monye wey Omonya dabi ejabro Uoje bro mo pedi yo Kaya jomblede Swan for dwedi Swan for mesiaye Ejo yi papa Mo je wey gewe Tano ni kwa kwa sae Wey wey You de no place so ye Kasonzia ka kwa de wey Oni esarba o de wey Popo saji o de wey Loju wanje safande o de wey De kuadi o de wey De kuadi o de wey Wey ni wey yo Mon grand frère Clé Armel depuis très longtemps. Pour le pays où est pour un mamadi, j'ai posé pour une masse à prier. Pour le pays où est pour un mamana, j'ai posé pour une blague et un mamana. Pour le pays où est pour un bon maman, j'ai posé pour une blague à un c'est moi. Pour le pays où est mon didier, mon ami a une caille à nos copons. Ah, ni a dit à nous, madio, ma jambe, y'a un pays, il est tout Calvé de calvé, il y a un gars. Moi, qui est ici? Ça y est, tout est. À aussi des Français.
Good evening. What a beautiful music here from neighboring like Cote d'Ivoire. We say happy Sunday, first Sunday at our rate. This is a very beautiful music. Very beautiful music from neighboring like Cote d'Ivoire. I hope you understand the interpretations of this song, so you will know exactly what we're talking about. Without money, you can't do anything. Money is the gateway. Welcome. This is the LPR Sunday Talking Point. I'm Alfonso Z, and so welcome to the show. Good evening, and welcome. We say happy Sunday to all our viewers and listeners. It's just too, we are at a critical junction to no time to keep the day or to keep the time of. Let us go in. And interestingly, the drama is unfolding in the diaspora inside Liberia, whereas we are keeping eyes on the ball, what is happening in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. 99 days to go. We are really chipping into this whole process. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing your evening with us this Sunday here. Please, it is not on purpose to distract you from family time, but we also have a greater deal to greater portions in Liberia where the presidential and legislative elections are going to be taking place. Mr. Julius Dennis, I will say good evening. Welcome, Afro Fremont Abdullahi. Thank you for being here. Legendary Kev Hassan. Good evening to welcome, and of course, our prime time viewers, listener, always here. Madam Helen Wilson, thank you so much for being here this evening. We sincerely apologize if we were just to root you out of your Sunday routines this evening. To Jackson Colley, to Rosie, Eddie Taylor, Benedict, and the list go on. Lovado, Abby, and my man Hanson Wife from the city of Live Free, Die Free. You don't need to do any insurance. That's New Hampshire. If anything by fire, you're on your own. That's the beauty of this network. Margaret, thank you so much, and we'll try to do a little recognition here to this Sunday by just sharing your evening with us. Madison, Payment, Demetri, James, and Vincent. Okay, well, the conversations is on. I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio, and I hope that you will form part of this conversation because what is happening is something we have to take serious. I love to prevent crisis. I'm not a guy who likes to manage crisis. Liberians do not manage crisis. And if you are not a person who can manage crisis, the best thing to do is to avoid crisis. And so we must do everything possible we can to get this conversation going at all times in the proportion of faction, fair balance, and objective to know what is happening in our country and what is ahead. Okay, let's have the time. Even going right here is 8:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I know it is after 12 a.m. in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Welcome, this is Alfonso Z and so. Okay, good evening. And let me just recognize someone from the motherland, Alan Gay Wirtus, Senior. It's watching from Concordia. Oh, good evening, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. And this is what we love because we have people at home who are paying attention to what is happening. It is vital that we have these conversations in the very civil context, fair, balanced, proportionate, and be informative without inserting our own personal feelings, emotions into what is happening in Liberia. But we must keep it the conversations in a fair context. Be the first to know. Welcome to the Liberia Public Radio LPR-TV program. I'm saying program, not saying talk show. It's program. There's a 5 different of program and a talk show. This is the building. This is the resident that has been heavily contested in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. And I decided to be it in a uniformity context here, the red, the blue, the black, everything mixed together, whatever that is, not that, just is on your own. But let's have a conversation here. Too much is ongoing. At the same time, we are also in the business of happening to discuss what is going on. Let's take a rendezvous on some of our major news across the globe. Oh, here we go. According to France 24, Sierra Leone main opposition vows not to take part in governance. It's normal. It's always this is the column councils within our African politics. Opposition to government. They always vow not to participate. Nothing is ever right as long as it doesn't go their way. That's the behavior. That's the typical African concept. And they just don't get it. In order to get to the finishing line, you have to put in all your resources, your talking point, your conversation, be able to be persuasive to the voters. You sit down, you do not create a hallmark. There is nothing for voters, for electors to count on. No legacy. There's nothing in place that it can speak for yourself. And you think you just want to get to presidency? Well, you're on your own. 56% or millions of votes. You vow not to take part. Well, when the time comes, you will. That's it. I don't know when would we will really to respect the rules of the rule of the game. There's nowhere, even in the USA, there are some here today who still believe, who still hold their opinions and their views, and they are entitled to it. But that is not stopping the government here from running. There are other people who today feel that Joe Biden is not the president. Joe Biden was not elected. The conspiracy theory, the innuendos, the subliminal messages, the falsehood, the talking point created by their Goliath, Donald Trump. Do not believe them. This attitude has been successful. They have been transported within it is in our continent. Opposition. You vow not to take part in the government, even if they reach out. So you just went in it. When you go into a race, there are 2 alternatives. You win it or you lose it. This time you lose it. Very few countries, very few oppositions are receptive, even if they lose the process for the good of the country. But they always have some sort of exception to anything. If they win it, then it's okay. And government, it is so bad. So you go into a race, and there are 2 possible scenarios involved in your race. You either win it or you lose it. So if you won with one game plan, if you did your victory speech, you be prepared to have 2 speeches. And I'm quite sure Donald Trump had that, Hillary Clinton had that, and other people who goes into major races, they do. It's not something that you're going to lack out. You do not know the decisions of the voters. Not everyone who told you, oh, we're there for you. Not necessarily when they go in that ballot. When they go in that ballot, there's an instant that kicks into their mind. The retrospect, the profile, the look back, the look front. I said, wait a minute. Even though I took this decision yesterday, a couple of days ago, a week ago, it's still a good decision. Because we are in the process to empower people for the rest of our 6 year, 9 years they're going to be our Antonin at law. They're going to be making some consequential decision. This is why when we come to this outlet, this platform, there's a need that we have this conversation. But the system has been so polarized. Politics, I will not just say only to Liberia, then that would be unfair. But we'll see what is happening even in the West as well. But the courage and the convictions of these people, even with people within the party, can come out and rise against some of these ills and these mischief that is ongoing to say, no, this is not who I am. Look at people like Liz Cheney, sacrifice of political career because she stood against, not because she was a Republican. This is the lady whose father was a vice president of this nation. And she put aside partisanship and look at the survival and the integrity of this country, and that is the Constitution. And Adam Kissinger of Illinois, there are many of them. They challenge the status quo. They challenge the sitting president. Yes, I'm a Republican. Yes, I'm a pure conservative, but this time you are not on the right path of the history. And those people that fought against that. And they were aware there were going to be political consequences. And they paid the price. And she's not holding back. She's speaking again. When will we see this happening? When will we see such a this to happen? That you are part of the system. And you are fully aware the system is not functioning. You are fully aware the system is being compromised. You are fully aware the system is contaminated. You work in the system, you stay in the system. For some reason, that honeymoon went away. You were kicked out. And you turned to be like a renegade soldier who took fighters in the battlefront and he as a commander died. That's what happened. When a commander takes soldiers in the front, the rest of the people, when a commander is inflicted, that's just a serious problem because no one takes instructions. Everybody on your own, you fight for yourself. I'm waiting to see when that's really going to happen. How many days? What, 90, 99 days to go? We have some having parties, celebrating birthday parties. We have some having next stand overseas. We have some going out of the country, taking a state visit, which of course they have to perform their state, their constitutional obligations. So where is the conversation? It becomes a saying at the end of the week, in the coming week, oh, what is going to be happening again next? Because some sort of drama, some sort of theater, somebody going to open Roxy Cinema, trust me, this week. And it even started again. I saw some sort of video flying all around. And they send out a video to the court. I said, so look at this video. I said, oh, I'm not one of those who just empathize and emotion, sentiment just kick in. I like to go to the bottom of things when it's happening. In as much it will look terrible, I like to do my own investigation. I like to find it out. Amazing Soul. It's 8:31 Eastern Standard Time. I am Francois Soul. This is the bidding that has been heavily contested. And what is interesting to the primaries that is ongoing in the country. Those are good practices and good tendencies of democracy. We can later on talk to validate how it's being played out, but this is what people want to see. People must be able to participate in the process. They must be able to, because that's how that's how stars are raising. You see, in this country, every other election, you will always hear the Democrat or the Republican to rising star, rising star. It's part of that because they allow people to participate in the process. You can't just have one group of people to be there and they think it is their entitlement. It needs to happen. I'm going to put a number out here very soon this evening. Let's have we have a conversation. Stay tuned. I'm Francois and so let's have a quick commercial commitment here from some of our sponsors, those that help us to do what we are doing. Let's go to Uncle Musa's store.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm a customer of Uncle Musa. I came here to get some things from grocery. Their things are so nice. They never get expired. They are the best quality. They have the best price ever anyone can get. They have so many things like cream, like meat, a lot of kind of meat. We have so many kind, and it's the best grocery store I've ever seen here in Wood. They are located at the 65th and Woodland. If you want, I really appreciate you guys to come over to come and patronize with us because they sell the best quality.
Uncle Musa's Groceries on Woodland Avenue, 6523 Woodland Avenue, Philadelphia, PA. Musa's store is composed of varieties of African food as well as Americans, but predominantly African food. You have dry fish, you have cassava, you have yams, you have plantains, bananas, and Musa even goes out of his way to pay people extra to cut the potato grains for customers to save them extra time. We have deeper, we have fufu, we have the refrigeration center, then we also have cosmetics. This is a place to come in Philadelphia. If you come to Philly, you don't reach to Uncle Musa's Groceries, you have not made your trip complete. Welcome, and we look forward to seeing you sponsoring our business. Thank you.
This is Uncle Musa's store, 6523 Woodland Avenue. It's the only store, a grocery store, that deals with African stuff. Anything African thing you can get in Uncle Musa's store. I am from Igbo in Nigeria. So, ndị Igbo dum, onye ọbụla wụ onye Igbo, ya bịa na Uncle Musa's store, 6523 Woodland Avenue. Ọ ebe ọ ga-enweta anything we ihe ndị Igbo na-eri.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The business, we have a business on grocery store or African food, all West African food from Liberia, mostly Liberian food. And we have a palm oil imported from Liberia, and we have a very good customer service. If a customer buy from Uncle Musa Grocery, you get bonus certain times, and things are very reasonable. We have a good palm oil. Anything you want from Africa, West Africa, you can get it from Uncle Musa Grocery. We do retail and wholesale. So you can visit, and we have a couple of stores in Philadelphia. We have one on 6523 Woodland Avenue, and another one is a clothing store on 6519 and Woodland Avenue. And we have another one on Upper Darby, Gary Road. So you're welcome for shopping. Everything is nice. Customer service perfect. So that's it. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Fiber Queen off of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She have really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hair ties all over. We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen on Woodland, 95 off of Woodland. 6625 Woodland Avenue, okay? So you guys are welcome, 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 welcome. You have nice stuff here for ladies, for men, for kids, and for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia is 100% African-owned business. At Fabric Queen, we are specialized in high-quality wax product, Swiss lace, jewelry, and beauty products that will make you shine like the queen of fabrics. We are located at 6625 on Woodlands Avenue, 10 Philadelphia. Telephone number 215-800-0228. Tell the management of Fabrics Queens in Philadelphia is easy and salt of the Liberia Public Radio gives you this message. Tell all Akwaba. Okay, there's the Fabric Queens and Uncle Musa. Uncle Musa is based right there in Philly land, Philadelphia, in a heartbeat. Yo, who can eat potter? You go to Uncle Musa play, you get it. Anything that you think about, snuff and all of that, you can get it. Our joy is to advertise. It's level you to make a decision as to what is good for your health. But anything, literally anything you want from inside Liberia, organic as well. Okay, I want us to have a conversation here this evening. Let's see if we can hold ourselves responsible and accountable as well. It appears that some of us make decisions unaware without even having been informed of your decision that you made. So sometimes people make decisions based on other people's decision. Oh, if she is going this direction, I think you draw a conclusion you think is good. So he's there, I must go there. Be an independent person. Let your own instinct drive you to be able to make decisions. And this is why we try to tell people to do here. Hey, Reggie, good evening, welcome. We want to empower people here. And this is why we don't tell you what you want to hear. We tell you what we feel you need to hear, our views, our opinion. That does not suggest everything is 100%. But we feel that we must have an honest conversations about our country if we want to have our country, because these politicians, this is why without them and with them, we will have a conversation. We will need them because we want to get them on record. We want to know where they stand on issues, critical issues. This sort of brushing out critical issue and the pavy deflecting questions that are using some sort of MISA protection or defectors. We don't want to see that. There are a lot of questions these people need to answer. Unfortunately, they are not answering these questions. They have their own media outlet where they are being spoon-fed. They give them oatmeal. These people, they are all grown-up people. Some of them more than 32, 40. But they give them, they lay the foundations for questions. And what that does, it leaves the ordinary Liberian vulnerable without getting to the point. There must be a reason, and we respect their sacrifices, their decision to step out to the game that they want to be president, they want to be senator, they want to be representative. Those are high-profile positions. We're going to be entrusting our lives with those people. We're going to be entrusting the future of our children, the future of the country, the success of the country. So it does make sense that these people must make themselves available. But in the event, we always like to have a contingency plan into place. In the event they are not making themselves available, what do we do as a people, as a nation, as a citizen, a patriotic Liberian? Is a decision being influenced by brother, by sister, or some sort of party sentiment? What are you considering? What it means to elect a president of a country, what it means to have a member of a parliament, what it means to have someone to be a senator. Do we understand how we see, how we view it? Okay, all right. Just hold on. Let me send this to you quickly here. Folks, just bear with me. All right, what I'm doing is, I'll be forced to get a quick commercial here. Musa is our guy. So let's go back to Musa. For this, what I try to get one of our guys in here this evening.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm a customer of Uncle Musa. I came here to get some things from grocery. Their things are so nice. They never get expired. They are the best quality. They have the best price ever anyone can get. They have so many things like cream, like meat, a lot of kind of meat. We have so many kind, and it's the best grocery store I've ever seen here in Wood. We are located at the 65th and Woodland. If you want, I really appreciate you guys to come over to come and patronize with us because they sell the best quality.
Uncle Musa's Groceries on Woodland Avenue, 6523 Woodland Avenue, Philadelphia, PA. Musa's store is composed of varieties of African food as well as Americans, but predominantly African food. You have dried fish, you have cassava, you have yams, you have plantains, bananas, and Musa even goes out of his way to pay people extra to cut the potato grains for customers to save them extra time. We have deeper, we have fufu, we have the refrigeration center, then we also have cosmetics. This is the place to come in Philadelphia. If you come to Philly, you don't reach to Uncle Musa's Groceries, you have not made your trip complete. Welcome, and we look forward to seeing you sponsoring our business. Thank you.
This is Uncle Musa's store, 6523 Woodland Avenue. It's the only store, a grocery store, that deals with African stuff. Anything African thing you can get in Uncle Musa's store. I am from Igbo in Nigeria. So, ndị Igbo dum, onye ọbụla wụ onye Igbo, ya bịa na Uncle Musa's store, 6523 Woodland Avenue. Ọ ebe ọ ga-enweta anything we ihe ndị Igbo na-eri.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The business will have a business on grocery store or African.
Let's
food.
interrupt this here quickly here. We get a lot to do. Jones, just check your message and you're gonna get it. So back to the conversation here. Let's hold ourselves responsible to what one of our analysts try to come out. I'm gonna put this number here, and I need your full participation here this evening because we are responsible for what is happening. It's not just only the people that we make our own conscious decision to say, you be representative, you be senator, you be president. So on what basis you came to that conclusion as well? Was it a persuasion through another person, or did you hear enough from this individual before that vote was taken? So we need to help electorates, and this is why we sit behind the microphone, not to badmouth people, not to just hear it without even the fair share, giving them the opportunity to get their side of the story heard. And because this is what happened. People hear it, they don't verify it, they run with it, and all they are quoting sources. Where are the sources? At least you might have three, but you can't just you can't just run with it. So let me put this number out here. I want to know, I'm curious, I want to know how are we going to be making a decision come 2023? We already here, 99 days to go. These people that are expiring, the people that want to be a chief occupant of this building, by this time we must start having the conversations of their policy issues, their economic plan, their infrastructure plan, their educational plan, their health plan. I don't want to hear no crap when we get everything going to be okay. That's baloney. I don't want to hear that. We want to see where something that are visible that we can see and we can hold them accountable. Not just go and go have some sort of little bit jamboree and talk, whatever talk, and you think everybody just going to go and drive in that direction and believe what you say. No, that's not how it doesn't work like that. But are we doing enough, we as a people, as a nation, to hold these people accountable? Or we just agree with them? Or is it because we are so much die-hard of these political parties? We are part of the system now, so everything is okay, even if it is upside down. How many political parties that we have? And this is why Liberia must be first. How many presidents we have had since the foundations of that country? How many political parties? Countless. The one then with chairman, the one without chairman, they run their party with just hand grip, no offices, no constituents. You can't get them, no specific phone number that you can call. You don't have anybody. Before you even get to who you want to talk to, you got to call 555 people. They will put you all around because of these organizations, no structure in place. It is time that we hold these people accountable. These things, it doesn't happen. This country you see doing what they are doing, they don't just get and make this. It's not an overnight thing. People are paying huge price, political price as well. But we are not doing that. We are unable to even raise our own finger with people that will support. Two things: fear. You want to secure the positions. You don't want to be seen as somebody who is challenging the status quo. But let's Cheney, Adam considered, ignore that. They challenge the status quo. We all should not go into a drowning vessel. If you know very well the vessel is, this vessel here is in deep sea and there's no technician, and the possibility something could happen, and you jump in, you decide to go with that vessel, you also are responsible. So the failure, the failed policy, and all of the failed institutions that we have in our country, we all are responsible, directly or indirectly. You don't have to be in authority to be held accountable. We as ordinary citizens, talk show hosts, radio program hosts, whoever, advocates, we all are responsible, directly or indirectly, because our actions, our decisions, our thought, our conversations influence other people in a disingenuous way. And they made those decisions because you were very much influential, you were very calculative, very manipulative, you know how to put words together and to give them a good facial look. So these people made this decision based on what they heard from you and not what they heard from the candidates or those who are looking for the job. So we all are responsible if anything to go wrong. So I want you to have the guts here this evening. What are your sedition? What are you a Liberty partisan, or you are ANC, or you are Unity partisan, and you want your candidate to win? I want you to, let's have this conversation here this evening. Why should we trust you with state power, or why should we trust your guy with state power? I want to hear your own convictions. You must be convinced before joining these parties and making these consequential decisions, because your decision tomorrow will directly or indirectly affect me as well. It will tell me the justice systems that we're going to have. You're going to tell me the educational system we're going to have. You're going to tell me how the agriculture industry is going to be flourishing or going to go down the rail like a train. You're going to tell me the peace and stability, because if you make wrong choices, the consequences is not just only you. It comes back. Well, the guy who's, I'm not sure whether he had decided, but he's here this evening joining me here from the ocean state of Rhode Island. He said he's still reviewing, he's still taking a step, but his talking point, one could make an educated guess the direction in which he's leaning. That's who they are, these political pundits. I call them the octopus politicians. So they throw their legs and hands all here and there because they do not want to create any political injury. So they want to secure some things. They want to have a backup plan. So they don't swim, they don't bash. One day they hate, the next day they come, they create a political correctness tone. Well, John Mallis is here, is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. It's my understanding he's still undecided. But how can this guy be undecided? Well, this date we have right here, 99 days. When you see coming to that decision, so let me bring in Mally Jones. Jones is here with me here this evening. Okay, Mr. Jones, good evening. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday, moderator. And how are you today?
Well, God money us.
Yes.
So, how was your Sunday, by the way?
Well, the Sunday wasn't bad. I didn't go to church today. I had one or two backlog activity to make a follow-up on. Okay. And that prevented me from going to church. But anyway, I'm on record for going to church all the time. So the Lord himself is aware of that.
There you go. I told you. When it comes to God, it gets justification and all of that. So he holding God witness. Well, for that, I don't want to speak to that because I too didn't go. So they want a bone right in my throat. So yeah, I will be careful how to do this one here. But I really happy Sunday. We are in the month of July. Can you imagine? And when the decision time is what? In the month of October. Yeah, in the month of October, we're going to be having a decision-making time, right, in Liberia. So have you decided? Have you decided as well what's going to be a decision time? Have you decided?
Well, I have just finally concluded now that we'll wait for the winner and see who will be the winner and see how best we can make our contribution.
Okay, let's see here. This is what it's going to look like. Those are the two buildings that are going to be contested. Who's who? Who's going to be having here? Maybe you don't know yet. Let me just show it to you. Let's see here. Let's be honest with our people here. The branch there, the first branch, and that of the executive. So yeah, and that's the decision is in the month of October. So it's right here. So let's see here. We're gonna put people on record here too, and we ourselves let it carry your own baby here this evening. So you have still not decided, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yes. Not yet.
Is something responsible of why you have not decided up to this time? Okay, just bear with us. I'll just lose control of our guy there. Let me see here and double check with him and see what's going on. But definitely he's going to be right back. But the number is out there as well, 682-433. Whether you are Tiawa Gonglo guy or whoever person that is supporting, just let us know. Call us and let's hear from you.
Uma twaga nimeteka vuza vela sabazo kono kono gopo maga o welo ni tpage nimetie ni tbazo o damaga ni na page ni na page twaga nuva go o nazu ga o se ga nu wala ada yuva ma ama no teni no go koni tena no go koni gada gali ze karawizo gaka na kawara gaka no guys zika kabrezo ka no nuva go naga ya zi na dasi giziga was adisi adabra wala na go ne adaka ka was even now magalizo vozazo my yo abana ma nuva yo abana na adapa ada mama no e adi adizei so amana zai na wata in a pagini to take care of lava gana glava la le in a pagi go busu ga witazo kaga so ovama gona welo gama ni na pagi ga ogbo over ga ba ga ni na pagi ga kere ga ogbo over so na ma ga mama welo ku ana frega na ga go wo ga ba su wo ni na pagi ga busu ga so mama.
Okay, there you have it there. That's our lady there. Koto Jalabalayant is right there. And that's why we want to do that to express, to have people to speak their vernacular as well, to create that awareness. So let's bring in man Marley Jones. Marley, hold on. So let's see here. Let's have this person here. Maybe they have decided or they have not decided. Caller, good evening. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. Thank you.
Okay. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
My name is Dennis Cote. I'm calling from North Dakota.
North Dakota. Is that North Dakota is the oil area? Oh wow. Is that North or South? One of them.
Some part of North Dakota is the area where they dig oil.
Okay. Well,
it's somehow far away from where I live currently.
Okay, go. All right. That just so I said, are you done? And we have a conversation. Okay, so I'm quite sure you, as a Liberian, you are aware of what is going on in our country, correct? I know it might be a silly question, but I'm driving somewhere.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So,
I'm aware of most of it.
Most of it. Good. I like honest people here. So, the elections, legislative and presidential election on. By any way, have you decided which party you're going to support or where your support base is? Have you come to that decision?
Well, I was one of those that even pushed somebody to get in the election, so I am completely in full support of him. That is the only honest character so far I see, most especially in the presidential election. He is the only honest character that I see in the entire election that I believe in to make the best president, to be able to stand up to the situations facing Liberia today. And that the situation will be the issues that we all are yearning for to be solved. And this character is the only person that I feel can make the difference.
So for public disclosure and to be honest with our viewers and listeners, who is that person? Because there are many of them in this race here. Who is the
Councillor Tiawansi Gonglo is the only honest person, the only honest character that I see with the track records and the experience that can put most of the issues that we have in Liberia today under control. I can tell you the issues that Liberians are facing today, all of us can allude to, will be the uncontrollable corruptions in public offices, the lawlessness that includes gross human rights abuses that has to do with ritualistic killings and all these extrajudiciary killings and all this stuff. The misuse of public offices. This is the only person that I see who is very honest that we stand up to these issues. And I can tell you the fact that because of that, none of those politicians want to even endorse him. They are afraid of him in that direction. And the only crime they are charging him is that, oh, he does not have money. And that is the only crime that they are charging him with. Oh, he does not have money. He can't go anywhere.
Okay, so here we hold everybody responsible of their comments or what is it. What is your own measurement of he is the only person? What is your measurement in that?
I look at his track records. Elections are based on the backgrounds of people that are running. Elections are based basically on issues, and the issues that I face in Liberia based on his track record can make me to tell that he is the only person that can face those situations. He has been in jails for these things, for standing up to those things. He doesn't draw back. He was tortured. He was beaten for speaking against some of these stuff. And today he is standing in a position now to handle it. And when you look at his platform, he's not drawing back. He says it, how he's going to tackle this. For instance, corruption in Liberia, for instance. He says, hey, look, this is how I'm going to tackle corruption. Okay. When I am elected, I will, okay, you want to come in to say something?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I have another caller here, and I want you to stay there. You never know whether he's going to come with his own kitchen sink attitude as to how you got to that point. So let me go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Caller, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, is that Terry?
Yes, Terry.
Okay, the guy, he already drew his own red line, just how Netanyahu was addressing the United Nations when he put that red line of what the Palestinians were doing here. So do you agree with him?
Not really, Mr. So.
Oh, you know, not really. You see why I told you to hold on, because I know Terry going to come. So let's hear your side. What's your own decision?
Yeah, I think Mr. Gongo is not in the right timing. All right, he's not in the right timing, and I think he's not going to make it because he got so many areas where he's not to me he's not fit for the job. That's just it. But I think that
when you say he's, like I said, hold on one second. When you said did I hear you saying he's not fit for the job?
Yes.
What's
he's not fit for the job?
What's the definition of he's not fit for the job?
Okay. He's not the kind of character that the Liberian people expect to deliver what Liberia needs right now. Like most of his people always talking about law, you know, rule of law, this, that, all the kind of thing. Liberia does not need only a lawyer. Liberia needs somebody who understands the political landscape of the country. Liberia needs an economy. Liberia needs somebody who have an economical foundation that is able to emancipate the people from poverty. All right? But most of Gonglo people talking about law, they talk about law, impose not law. I don't see anything substantial when it comes to the agenda for agriculture, the agenda for education, the agenda for the road network, and the agenda for healthcare. You know, how they're going to derive all of that, how they're going to derive the money to be able to extract transformation to the economy when it comes to all these things, healthcare, road network, agriculture, and all of that, education, all of that. That is what Liberia needs. And I don't see Kevin Bonglo being the guy who is prepared to deliver on those premises because his platform is not wicked enough to carry to carry all these things. So that is the reason why I don't think he's fit for the job.
He's not fit. Well, views and opinions expressed on this network are views of individuals, callers, and participants. We facilitate this conversation. So the question now becomes, and there's another question. So then, who is the person? Who's the person?
Can I respond to him, please?
Hold on 1 second. Let's do it. But he's still hanging. We don't know who he's bringing as the person that is fit for the job. So you want to listen to that as well. Let's hear from the house's mouth. I want to give you a time. So Terry, then who is St. Councilor Tiawan Gonglo in your words say he's unfit? Who is fit for this job?
Well, the most experienced man in the race, Mr. So, which is JMB. In my opinion, JMB have all of the experiences when it comes to what you need right now for Liberia to be transformed or to be rescued. All right. So I think the guy is the guy for the match right now for that particular era because he has 12 years of experience closer to the president, especially a president that took the country from a dead economy to a level of to a level where the country got on a trajectory. We started seeing electricity, we started seeing road network, we started seeing some level of transformation when it comes to the health sector, unlike the George Weah government where he has placed it now that have brought a complete decline to everything. So I think Joseph Boakai has already earmarked all the errors that was done during the 12-year period of Madam Sally, and he is prepared to go and rectify them and improve on it. So I think, in my mind, we need to give this guy the opportunity to do that.
Is he responsible for those? Before I go to the next caller, and then I'm going to bring in the first caller. Is he also responsible for those errors in your work of Helen Johnson Sirleaf?
I will say that yes, because every leadership you must take into consideration that every leadership will have mistakes. I listen to many people that say, oh, you know, they never in power for 12 years, people did, people that. But the 12 years that the early government was in power for, what was the state of the people? Civil servants were making 150 US dollars. All right? There were a lot of transformation that start to take place in the economy. So they did not do it perfectly. There were a lot of corruption also. The Ellen, because herself, she stood up one time and even defended the corruption in the country and all of that. But we see that this old man was just behind her and not be able to. He was never given the chance to really explore his potential. But
no. Who was not given the chance? Ambassador Boyka. So then why will he? Why Boyka say 85, 90, 75% decisions? He was always. How can you say that when he proxied the affairs of the country, international travels, and said that he said he was one of the closer advisors to the president? So that seems to be a contradiction, Terry.
No, it's not, Mr. So. If a person is advisor to the president, does that mean that when they advise the president, she takes everything that he tells her?
How do I know? Boyka, up to this time, Ambassador Boyka have not told the public why Helen Johnson disagreed with him administratively. We saw Donald Trump and Mike Pence here. Donald Trump tried to circumvent, tried to turn the elections over to violate the Constitution. What did Mike Pence stood firm and said that was not something. I don't know what Ambassador. I'm not saying everything were in agreement. But usually after this time, memoir will come or some information will come, we just still don't know what Ambassador Boyka disagree with Helen Johnson Sirleaf, for which even Helen Johnson Sirleaf has not even raised his hand. That's a concern, is that. Do you know that? Has he shared that with you?
I 100% agree with that analogy, but again, what we're looking at is for the virtue of the fact that this man served with this woman for 12 years and saw all the errors and came her and told her that I want to take your place. It shows you, and she did not support it. It shows you exactly that there was something that happened in the inner working that made him angry, for which reason he decided to
May who angry?
And she rejected.
May who angry? Helen Johnson Sirleaf?
It made him angry. That's why that's your leadership now. I'm trying to say.
But how do we know? I'm not a soothsayer. We are not a soothsayer to know that something happens with why he can't speak out if you strongly believe there was something that happened. But hold on 1 second. Let's see the conversation. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Don't go Terry, stay there. Let's go to Atlanta, Georgia. Aaron is there. Aaron, good evening. Aaron.
Yeah, Mr. So, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Good evening. You heard the first caller, the second caller, Tiawon say Gonglo is the right guy. Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka is the right guy. Who do you have as the right person?
You know, it's nobody else but the one and only Excellency Dr. Josh Manuia.
How?
Yeah. So let me just address this. And you know, this Terry man always coming on the show talking what he's always talking about Joseph Newman Boyka. You know, the followers of Joseph, former Vice President Boyka, they are not honest to themselves. The same way like the old man, he's not honest to himself. Okay? The old man never want to align himself with a party that he served as Vice President for 12 years. For 12 years, he said he was just sitting in the office, and when people come, he can just say, okay, I agree. Okay, I agree. Okay, I agree. What kind of confidence this man wanted confidence to have in him? If he cannot even speak the simple truth, like what you say, Mr. So, then he cannot come up one day to say, oh, I recommended this to former President Sirleaf, she didn't do it. I recommended that, she never did it. He cannot even come up to say it. Please, the fact your former boss cannot even give a letter of recommendation for you. What that tells the entire country? What that tells the entire country? Okay? What I mean, I don't understand this Terry guy. Every time he comes on the show, he talks about former Vice President Boyka experience, former Vice President Boyka experience. He don't even live in Liberia. I don't know when the last time he went to Liberia. Okay? Talk about experience. That man not even honest with himself. That man cannot even raise $10,000 at a rally as a former vice president. He always claimed he broke. Look, let me tell you, Mr. So there's nothing, there's nothing for me to believe about the former vice president Joseph Nima Walker, because all he does is just tell lies. Because you cannot be vice president for a country for 12 years and you come up to tell people you're living on low, you broke, you this, you that. But the only excuse they follower have is, oh, the man didn't see government money, the man didn't do this. What happened to his salary? What you won't tell me the vice president position he was not getting paid? It's the second highest paid position in the country. You cannot tell me the vice president will make you less money than a senator. No, I will not believe that.
Okay, hold on one second.
So, hold
on one second. Let's do it one at a time. Yeah, hold on, Terry. Don't let the guy kill your blood. Yeah, the guy, he sent me a text here. He said, I'm coming and I want to make Terry blood pressure to go over the roof. So don't allow that here. Let's see another caller on the line here, and I'm going to come back to all of you. Just take note here before I go back to my man on the live view. Christopher Roti Tobasi. The name Christopher Roti Tobasi speaks for itself, but let me play the devil advocacy here. Christopher.
Yeah.
So you heard Aaron, you heard Terry, you heard the other gentleman. What's your name again, please? Forgive me if I can't remember.
Dennis Koti.
Okay, Mr. Koti.
North Dakota.
Okay, Mr. Koti. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. One said Tier 1, one said Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka, and the other said Dr. George Weah. Where are you?
I think the one I sounded good in my ear, and I want to support that is the Dr. Weah, President Weah.
You don't know who you want to support?
Yeah, I said I'm supporting the doctor. You said one said doctor. I said I'm supporting that. And, President Weah is the best to lead the country for the next 6 years.
Tell me a little bit here in a few minutes before I go back to my guy and for the rapper. Why should we reward Ambassador Weah, the incumbent president's additional 6 years? Why should we give me another 6 years?
Yeah, I mean, Honorable Sue, the last time when the president ran, he didn't have an extensive record, in terms of somebody who has led a country before, and now that he has a record to point to, I think he's in a better position now to brag or to say, I've done this, I've done that. I can point to things now to take the voters and say, look, this is what I've done. And if you guys give me more time, another 6 more years, I think I will do better than what you have seen now. But that's the point. The reason I called tonight is to say thank you to the U.S. ambassador. In the diplomatic world, when they endorse you, because what the U.S. ambassador did is a complete endorsement of President Weah's second term. For him to say that on the planet, on the continent of Africa, he had never seen a political leader or administration that respect the freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and then he also said that we got no political prisoner in jail, and so for that he gave President we have probably 100% or plus, so that alone speaks volume of Honorable Sue. I think where the opposition fell out of line with the U.S. ambassador, they lied too much. They embarrassed the man too much. Everything they told the man was a lie. Everything they told this man.
Okay.
So the man had to put people on sanction with no evidence, nothing to show. They promised the man that they got evidence, says, empirical evidences to show, and they did nothing, zero whatsoever. And in fact, the man is embarrassed. The U.S. ambassador So because he also went to Congress and told them that, they got the evidence, you guys had, what they're telling him was the fact, and to find out that it was all lie.
Okay, let me hold you there. All right.
Opposition lies a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but just so before you go to the next person, our brother said that President Seti, the former President Seti, made a lot of errors. You cannot say she made error and Boycott did the right thing. Because Boycott himself had told a lot of people that they squandered a lot of opportunities. So I don't know how you can separate or how you can reconcile the two. So, just so you can go to the next guy for you to tell us what you meant by that.
Okay, let me go to North Dakota. So Dennis is there. Dennis, quickly here, I'm going to be wrapping up with you guys. You say you wanted to respond to Terry, right?
Yes, and the good news is others have joined us with their points, so I'm going to also speak to all of them.
Okay.
First, let me start with the current president. The current president, what the supporters are failing to know is the fact that, in fact, in the first place, just what he was speaking to regarding him saying that the ambassador has proven that those people who carry complaint to him, they were lying and all those things. Look, the United States government, before they come out to make pronouncement on anything, they have gotten every proof. So you cannot convince anybody that the U.S. government sanction that is placed on Nathaniel McGee and the others, they were forced. They are not forced. They are still backing it today. You ask them, they say, look, in fact, we don't want anybody to have any business to do with those people. That is the reason why, in fact, the Elections Commission is rejecting Nathaniel McGee's attempt to bid for senatorial position. So that your where you get your information from, I don't know. To again emphasize on that, Georgia has miserably left the people behind. Look at him today. Georgia grew up.
Okay, let me make our points. Let's get to the points strictly. I gotta go back to my guy on the live view as well.
Yeah. So they were talking. I was the first person on the line. I was giving them the chance for them to come up with all their points. So Georgia has done nothing to encourage the youth that elected him. Georgia was an international soccer player. We know him for that. Okay, we applaud him for that. So we expected him to have been somebody to bring some of those children out to be somebody like that tomorrow in the future. But Georgia has paid dead ear to them. What we know about today in the country is that the children are in drop everywhere in the country. Their condition is getting worse and worse. Let me come back to the person that promoting Ambassador Boycott. Look, I only talk about Georgia's failure because he is the current president. I don't want to go negative, but I'm here to promote my candidate. I will again assure you that Councilor Gonglo is the best. He has the experience that you're talking about. When Joseph Boakai being in government for 12 years, you're talking about there is no record of any form of transformation that Joseph Boakai did in any of the government positions that you are naming. Allow me to learn, please. Councilor Gonglo, everywhere he worked in government, with his experience, everywhere he worked in government, he transformed the area. And he didn't only stop there. Councilor Gonglo also went with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But when he saw that corruption was being the name of the day, he resigned. He just
let's leave it at. There are a lot of people here. We are here with specific time.
Councilor Gonglo is the best to handle the country right now. You're talking about, or those of us who support him, we are only talking about law. It's not just law. It's not law. His actual background is he's an economist.
Thank you so much.
You should know that first.
Thank you so much.
You are trying to stop me. Let me
we just gotta run again time because I know everybody. I can't keep the guy out. At least.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Terry, go strictly to your point. What's your conclusion?
Yeah, actually, Mr. So, the thing is very clear. These guys been talking about George. It's clear. The man was in government for 5 years. Within 5 years, just within 5 years, the man have 3 sanctions. Then you're telling me that this is the man that like went through my pull back to where are we going, man? Just stop this kind of thing. Joseph Walker was VP for 12 years. In his leadership for 12 years, there were no sanction on nobody. So what are you talking about? Joseph Walker being a VP, you understand how VP role is played. Let your VP there or what her name.
Was there anything happening on
doing?
Terry?
Yeah.
On to Boyka as a VP, was there anything significant that happens that we can also say, if not equivalent to sanction, but something of concerning?
So there were a lot of things. There were a lot of things that happened.
They took the entire country budget and put it under the Senate so that the Senate, they can put the Senate.
My brother,
okay,
all right.
Now.
So you just spoke or you were can't eat.
No.
You're trying to convince us to carry your guy who have been in power for just 5 years, and he have received 3 sanctions with international report telling us that this government is carrying on judicial killings. Then you're telling us that this is the government that we should trust to put back in power. So this is why we're coming with a rescue team, because we don't want to give you the power.
And not only that,
we don't interrupt here. We don't interrupt. Make a point quickly.
You're weak. You don't have the ability. Now, Joe Howard said that. What has she done in 5 years?
Okay, Terry, thank you so much.
Aaron, then you're talking about our VP that have balance and control with governmental experience that help to bring the economy from under a rebel-led government Charles Taylor to a level of equilibrium where the country gain. The country gain or
Taylor is so Terry. Taylor is not the only.
Gravitating back to Joseph Walker.
Terry,
because they see that. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr.
No, I said Taylor is not the only rebel that was. Taylor was constitutionally elected. He's not the first rebel president to be elected in Africa. You have Museveni and other people there. No, I'm just saying that. Okay, but hold you there. Let me go to the next person here. Aaron, quickly make your point. I'm going to be coming down to Christopher, and I believe our man Keto is on the line. I got to go back here. Please condense your argument. Time is of essence here. Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. So thank you very much.
They say there's no name that will reward George here with additional 6 years.
You just need to go back to Minnesota, please. Because first of all, during the Ellen government, the Global Magnitsky Act was not passed. It was not in existence. Had it been in existence, you were going to see sanctions. Okay? Let me correct you on that. Okay. So number 2, please.
Let's do it one at a time. Let's do it one at a time, please.
Yeah. So number 2, if people in the government or government ministers are being sanctioned, was the president sanctioned? You think the great United States would know that the president is corrupt? They won't sanction him? I mean, sometimes when you guys, when you come to argue, I mean, I don't know what you can be taking, you can be getting your premise from. Because you're not making any sense right now. Okay? If people in the government were sanctioned, they were sanctioned because of what they did. If even the did, okay? They never told you the president was sanctioned. The ambassador never told you the sanction is against the government. You got to listen before you talk. Joseph Walker don't have no moral. I don't even know what kind of word to use.
Okay, yeah, use the correct word.
No moral to stay in Liberia and say anything. His former boss cannot even support him. His former boss left him and went and left off the opposition him. And you're telling now you want to talk about Joseph Walker.
All right, guys. Okay, let's leave it there. Thank you so much. Christopher, and then I will come to our man Keto. He was still on the line. Christopher here in 1 minute, please.
So the reason I don't want to mention Talon Gonkolo because it's not a factor. Because the election, if anything, is going to be between former Vice President Joseph Walker and President Weah. So I just don't want to give people like Tiawan, Gonko, and Alexander coming and they're not player in the state. But now quickly, the death of Harry Greaves, Joseph Boyka was silent. The death of Councillor Allison, Joseph Boyka was silent. Okay, during Joseph Boyka and Helen Johnson Sirleaf administration, United Nations, UN was spending $870 or $80 million every month in the country. United Nations were paying the peacekeepers, they were spending money.
So how much has been spent? How much been spent now?
These guys help to uphold or to keep the economy of Liberia running. For somebody like Joseph Human Boyka, who served for 12 years, this man came out to say that he doesn't have any money, he's broke. Truth telling, as a leader. In the reality, truth telling.
Okay.
Joseph Boyka is struggling with telling the truth. Joseph Boyka said that for 12 years, he made $12 million. $12 million as pay. And Joseph Boyka telling us that he goes to the bank to credit.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Just before you go to the next person, look, we got to be honest. Nobody is lying on Joseph Boyka or anybody. There's nowhere in the world people have elected a sick president, a sick person to lead them. Nowhere in the world.
A what?
A terminally ill person. Somebody that has a peacemaker, somebody that has African sleeping sickness. No, I'm not trying to be bad to the old man. I'm being real. There's nowhere in the world that people are knowingly elected a sick human being. You guys should not do this to this republic.
Joshing on that, Joshing on that. I mean, these are the conversations, Joshing on that, and we see that happening. I'm coming. I'm coming. I said, Joshing on your argument doesn't make sense. All of these people, and that's how it should be. We should know the status of these people, health situation, health condition, their medical report, because this is a very hectic job they are going to occupy. Is that something you think people should make full disclosure of their medical record?
They should make their health record available, because we are.
Is the president you support? Is he willing to do that?
Everybody should do. Everybody should do that. But guess the fact, right? If Joseph Boyka own supporter, somebody like Henry Costa, his biggest supporter and mouthpiece, saying that this president, this candidate cannot.
Okay, I don't want to dwell into that. All right, thank you.
This candidate cannot go on a campaign trail and stand for 1 hour or travel all over the country. We have a problem.
Thank
if
you
they
so
cannot
much.
travel to all 15 countries, there's a problem.
Thank you so much. Christopher, let's leave it there. Let me come to Keto here. Keto, go ahead quickly here before I go to Mali Jones.
Thank you, brother. So thank you to the guys that participated on the show. Brother Mali, thank you. How you doing? So this is the thing, I listen to.
So guys, Keto, hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta let you guys go. Keto, he's gonna stay on here with Jonestown. If anything, you can call back. Not to hold everybody up here. Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you, Aaron. Terry, thank you. Tanao, man. Dennis, thank you very much. Okay, Christopher, go. Not Christopher. Keto, go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you. Let me just make small correction here. Again, like people always say, before America make decisions, they investigate thoroughly, they don't make mistakes, they will come down with this and that, and it will be cast in stone. Don't forget, America has made several mistakes that cost lives, destroyed countries in the world in recent times, in our history, not 75 years ago. I'm talking about in our lifetime. One example is Libya, another example is Iraq. You understand?
DMV,
so we know there have been decisions that this country has made based on false information, and today some of the Americans are regretting why they ever did it. It's an open fact, so we can't go there to say America made a mistake. We should also understand that the people that gave some Congress people information that were government officials in Liberia, they were not ordinary Liberian citizens based in Liberia. They were strong opposition to this president. From the day this president was elected, they started to campaign against his government not to succeed. And so they were campaigning heavily in America, having lobbyistic influence in America, convincing people to say things about the government and not to even have one foreign investor in the country. So we know that as a fact. And they pushed those guys' name because those guys were influential people around President Weah who could mobilize
so which one
to win the election. That's one. Two. President Weah, yet we're talking about the different political leaders in the country. You know, like my brother said, I don't like to give. I will never disrespect Mr. Bongo and you know my man, my own man, to say leader. But that is the fact. Bongo is not a factor in our election at this point in time. He's not a factor. To be honest here, he's not somebody that can even put any correct 25,000 people to the polls. We can't do that. So he's not a factor to compete. The main people that are in the race will be President Weah, Cummings, and Joseph Boakai. But just the thing, the Liberian people are resolved. The young people are resolved in the country that this man has done a lot in less than 6 years to compare to his predecessor. You understand? So the argument is not there. These are all propaganda. These are all myths. When they come up with some accusation against this president, the people find out that these accusations are baseless.
So,
okay. And so they are going to put this president in.
Okay, you stay on the line here, but let's get something straight here. Are you saying the decision by the Americans to sanction these government officials, are you saying it's based on the opposition's or argument with Congress? Is that what you're saying, Kelter? We have had this conversation here.
I start on spoon. So when Alan White was interviewed, he was interviewed also by Henry Foster. I also watched Henry Foster when Alan White was interviewed. Secondly, I saw the guy they call Winner, what the guy named from now he went to CDC. George
Wisner? George Wisner?
Wisner openly said that
so I understand what you're saying. Are you saying, if the lobby, you think they just went to Congress and just meet these people and they say something on the basis of that without the U.S. government to do their own investigation? And we know what these people are sanctioned here. For you to come and tell us here, it is because of Aaron Costa or Alan White. I know they are lobbyists. It's everywhere. Lobbyists are everywhere. That on the basis of that, their decision was wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Typical example, the congressman from New Jersey accused Jefferson Coty because he heard from Henry Costa, from what the guy named Justino Taylor, he accused Jefferson Coty, and we have to full bench his office. And then he came back and apologized.
So then let me ask you, if you are saying on the from these people lobbying, which of course lobbyists everywhere is a legal thing as long as you register, you can be a foreign agent, nothing wrong with that. But are you telling us, based on this information that you're saying and other people that went to Congress, anybody, I can get it, you can get it and go to Congress here today and tell them, without them doing their own due diligence to find out, is that a reason these people were suspended? And that is the case. Some of us frown on that as to how GOL took their position, because that was a position coming from the government, the U.S. government. So then what did the government of Liberia too know as well that led to this? And when the president himself said that there were going to be a full investigation, Mange himself calling for investigation, Serena Seaforth is calling for investigation. Where is this investigation? Why were these people removed? Why did they resign? And without this investigation, what is the status of this investigation? Let me bring in Jones here. Jones said, hold on one second. Jones is not a spectator. Jones.
Yeah.
You know, so if you go on the other hand, I just don't want to hold you responsible why you have not decided, because this has been the traditions, and it is a tradition. Everyone try to protect his or her own alligator. You listen to our own what Kelter is saying, because these people went to Congress. You listen to the other people making their own argument. Terry is backward peddling here as well, telling us why Joseph Boakai should be. Yeah, we do not know the difference in policy with Ambassador Boakai and that of the Helen Johnson Sirleaf, where he works for 12 years. We still don't know all of these things here. So it makes it very difficult for me to question you and nail you why you don't want to make a decision here. But you listen to all of these callers here. What you sense out from them?
Well, first of all, I want to take my hat off to all the callers. They make very wonderful and great points. I think if I should grade them tonight, they all won. They all are victors, and they all should be giving a victory lap for their expression. There is a political ritual that often states that you support your candidate and defend them even to the last breath. Even to your last breath, you have to defend them. But from our analysis, I want to start with Joseph Boakai. Our brother laid some very wonderful points. But my question now is, Joseph Boakai, normally when campaigns are being run, they are run on two bases. One, what you have done and what you will do. We have heard what Joseph Boakai keep telling us what he will be doing, but we have not heard what he has done from the 12 years. I have not heard anything from the Helen Johnson government where he advised for almost 90% of his advice were taken. I have not heard he's not using those things to build his campaign for the future. Maybe I tend to be corrected. Yeah.
Is there something hidden that we need to know?
Well, I think there's some serious thing hidden somewhere, because let's go to Kumi. Kumi has been telling us what he did in the past. He wants to base on that and tell us what he will do in the future. Gongolo is doing the same thing, right? But Joseph Boakai, that gap, there's a missing gap there. He's not telling us what he's going to do. So, okay, we want to know, what have you done? 12 years. Let's not go before 12 years. We're talking about 12 years. So maybe his supporter can think about that. And the next thing the caller said was, Joseph Boakai, he has clean as a white paper. Well, I will agree with you to some extent. But when Joseph Boakai was put in charge of the agriculture ministry by Samuel Kanya, the late Samuel Kanya Doe, he was entrusted $2 million for the Green Revolution. He was removed because there was a scandal. So Joseph Boakai is tinted in that era. So I don't know how white he is. That one. Two, let's move to Councillor Gongolo. Councillor Gongolo, as far as I'm concerned, he's no threat in this election. He just coming, and he's still struggling to sell.
He just coming. Those are the words that were used by the political opponents of Alexander Benedict Cummings that he finds very difficult to navigate. It has been like a stigma. He just coming. He's a stranger. He's a new person into this whole terrain. And the ANC folks, they are unable to, up to this point, as far as I'm concerned, public relation-wise, they are not being able to defend his positions and all of that. That's the same word you are deploying, and he's just coming.
No, let me give you a little description about my presentation. When I use the word just coming, when you take our voter into consideration, our voter are such that they will have to see you many times, many years, and keep your symbol into their brain and tend to remember you. So that's why I'm using the word just coming. Councillor Gongoro, as far as I'm concerned, I went to his platform, I read some good things about him, but he is not a threat in this election. One, he still struggling to market his image. He has not sold himself properly yet. He will need 6 years to get imprinted in the minds of the type of voter we have in Liberia. I don't know about his financial standing, but PR-wise, a lot of people don't know Councillor Gongolo yet. And secondly, Councillor Gongo worked in the interim government with Amos Sawyer. He was the special assistant.
Right.
Amos Sawyer almost served a constitutional period. He was never audited. All the money he received, he never get account of it. So where was Councillor Gongolo? He was the special assistant to that administration. Councillor Gongo also worked with the Helen Johnson-led government that is quote unquote was wrapped in rampant corruption. He did not speak to these things. And Councillor Gongolo come from the background of the LPP that believe in a Africanism. All right. That is also the Moja structural group. They believe in progressive deliverance. So he far away, so they refer to them as the right wingers. He one of the child of the right wingers. But here is the most important thing. The last election of the LPP, the last election LPP took part in, they had 1%. And according to the election laws, electoral law of Liberia, you can do that research. You must have 2% so that you be qualified to run again. So Gongolo stand no chance of running. He has violated the electoral law in that era. As a councillor, is he going to review that, or he keeping it quiet?
Hopefully, the Gongolo force here, I believe Dr. Joyce Toto Sisi Goyle spinning.
Okay, then finally on His Excellency George Weah. Every government that comes to power have got its own agenda. They told all about the pro-poll. The finance minister went to tell us that they have taken 25 million people out of property. There's some inconsistency down there. Our population is under 6 million.
It's far from that. No connection.
Yes, and besides that, this government is wrapped into extrajudicial killing. One of the most scary things that drive away investors. George Weah have done well with a road project. All right, but when it comes to the human rights issue, there's a class still hanging on George Weah. We don't know why he was invited by the CIA. People are guessing today, the whole government is established, but I want to believe strongly it came from the background of a human rights issue.
And talking about the CIA, saying he came from what, Kato? Do you want to respond before I come in?
Yeah, I just want to thank my big brother, Mr. Jones, Mommy, on the right. So this is the thing. Then. When it comes to President Weah, there's absolutely no record of human rights violation. Even looking at the MCC card, absolutely no record of human rights violation when it comes to President Weah. So I don't know where they come from with the assertion that was human rights record. Nobody knows the in and the workings of the CIA when it comes to President Weah presentation to the CIA. So we cannot sit there and speculate. There's nothing that they were speculating, oh, the guy in, they're going to arrest him, they're going to do this. Nobody knows the inner out, so I cannot sit there and speculate anything. But right, he's right to his opinion. I think you can say what you want to say, right? But this is the catch, or just the fact, right? President Weah government for the past 5.5 years, going on 6 years, has been doing extremely well in the lives of the Liberian people. The LPR-TV has been carrying it off. So the letter is slow, but it's moving steadily. And it has never changed. We were talking about power to the people. He gave the people power by giving them free education. He gave the people power by developing roads so they can be able to bring the product from the farm to the market. He gave the people power by allowing them hospitals, building new hospitals in the country, building new schools in the country, all right, paying YHP, all right, building hospital units. The only president in the republic ever that built homes and gave it to poor people for free. He has opened the Liberian people's eyes, the youth eyes, to play on international standard parts that they never in the history of our country had. And so for my big brother to say that extrajudicial killing, that the government sanctioned killing of people, that's what it means. Extrajudicial killing, I think it's far from the truth. We have no evidence to prove that. And there is nowhere in any report that has said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, it's all made up story.
Okay. Well, those are the views and analysis. where do we stand now, Jones? 99 days to go. We see this argument. We're seeing political activities out here. Others observing their birthday parties. Primary is ongoing. But let me ask you, talking about the president's visit or trip to the U.S. here that has to do with his visitations, cancels the CIA era here. We will never know that. That's not the first time the Liberian president visited. The Barclays, one of the Barclays visited, that was way down here. But that is often talked about that much. But since the visit of the president, have you noticed anything? Something? Have you noticed something?
Yes, since the president's visited. But before I even get to that, I want to first of all thank Analysts Keto for his brilliant analysis. And as I always said, as part of the political ritual, you must defend your candidate to your last breath. So I want to congratulate him for that. And as I said in my opening statement, His Excellency have been doing some good job, especially with the road issue. I don't know to what extent, but at least he started something that objectively I can say thank him for starting something. But back to this issue, I just want for Analyst Keto to understand that publicity and public relation and image building mechanism in politics is very key. And when the leaders become tight-lipped on something, then it degenerates into what we call a widespread rumors. So the president going to America, being sent by the CIA, is first in the history of the Republic of Liberia. I stand to be corrected. So people are speculating up to today. People are still speculating. As a diehard, he should be able to tell us what it is. Up to today, the information ministry.
That they can't speak to that, Mally Jones. You know,
No, excuse me, Mr. Moderator. If you can't speak to it, if you can't speak to it, then you get a chance for what I call the proliferation of dangerous rumors surrounding the executive mansion, and that is not good for a good public relation.
So yeah, we are what happens here, and because this is a troubling part. All of the talking heads, when it comes to the ruling establishment, they have their talking heads that change the narrative, that restructure the conversations into their own frame and put it out there to their supporter. Likewise, the opposition, when it comes to them to the restructure, they put it in the glass and put it out there to give it their own interpretation. But the visit of the president to the CIA, that I know, it would have been a daunting effort a sitting government or the president of this administration would have done if they were to call some sort of press conference and begin to decode, because if they did that, then that means they are declassified the information and whatever. You remember, that has to do with something outside. That's the work of the CIA, the extended corporate activities. So we don't know, but we saw the Russians and a lot of extensions of these terror things, and who knows, there are other things happening. So if the government had come out to speak to that, even to just say, oh yeah, to even say, yeah, the president visited CIA, you are literally decoding those sort of classified information. So for me, it wasn't a surprise that the government, you would never know it now. Like I said, Barclay, after he visited, it took almost 15 or 20 years before that information was decoded. So going to that place is something, but what I'm saying here is there have been some sort of changes in the sense that we're not hearing the president. He's not a talking person already, but we're seeing things going on quietly. And I'm concerned with the recent comment by the American ambassador. I don't know how well that the oppositions are taking that. And when it comes to public relations, the government or the party itself, especially within this election time, that's where the party should take that as a talking point, but they are unable to have that done effectively because for the ambassador to speak in that context. So then something is going on here that we need to know. Is Uncle Sam feeling much more relaxed now working with the George Weah-led government than the opposition? But again, the ambassador McCarthy with no hint. He been to a lot of volatile areas, and we saw what happened from Botswana when he came. The change, as a result, the Cubans won. So there are plenty of stuff surrounding this whole thing here. But what is key here is the statement coming from the ambassador at the time. And he's number the American ambassador then. He reminds me of William Swint. You remember William Swint when William Swint was ambassador during the presidency of Samuel Doe. They never hold back because whatever they do, directly, indirectly, taxpayers' money. You saw he took a tour out of the country, he came back. But this is an interesting thing. The day the ambassador speaks, and it sounds like it favored the tones of the opposition, he celebrated. The day he threw it on the other side and it doesn't sound right with the GOL, that's a problem. We saw Abachi and other people coming at the ambassador. Now, they're not going to speak. They're not going to say it because what the ambassador is saying now to say it, the progress, significant progress being made, I hope somebody could face that microphone. Why is he speaking specifically? Wharton Ketter.
Yes. So like you said, the talking point is out there. It level who listening to what. Now, I have noticed.
Okay, let me bring in legendary Gibson Jero here. But go ahead, Ketter. They are bringing Gibson.
People choose. I know Gibson is going to come on. You are listening. We fire at it.
Well, you're afraid of, yeah. You talk about Gonglo, so Gibson gonna come.
Yeah, obviously, brother. When we talk about political heavyweight, we don't put this in the inside. They put it working with our grown people. They still get motor street yet. Anyway, so let's go back to this, right? So this is it. It depends on who listening to what and what they are taking in as information dissemination, right? Now, when our society, especially in the opposition bloc, it will pick up every little bad thing that that come out from whatever corridor, and they will run with it. They will amplify it. They will add their own stuff to it. The good things they will keep it silent, even to the extent where if the ruling establishment start to make publicity of those things, they will start to downplay it. So it depends who's listening to what. But we know that there have been massive publicity on what the ambassador said and what.
Massive coming from home. Coming from home.
I will call you. Yeah, again.
Where is the massive publicity coming from home?
It's from home. It's from on the radio station. The government, the information minister been talking about it. Other radio stations been running. I've been talking about it. My state in favor of this government. I mean, if I'm not coming on your station to talk about it, doesn't mean they're not going out there. It depends on who you listen to.
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, hold on, guys. Let me see the WhatsApp number here. Let me see because I can't merge here. Let me just go to this number. Caller, are you there?
Yes, Anthony Kone.
Okay, calling to participate?
I'm sorry?
Are you calling to participate on the show, right?
Yeah, I got a text to the show. Is that a video edition or is this audio?
We are on the live field, but I know your number came as a WhatsApp number. That's what I have to put the rest of the folks on. You say you got a text?
Right, I got a text with the invite to call in. Right.
Okay, well, maybe people share it to you, but I'm not sure if you are following the conversation. What's your take based on what we are discussing? I just put the rest of the people on hold.
I actually just called in, so I don't really know exactly.
Okay. So then just listen to the live feed, and then I'll.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so all right. Let's see. Hopefully, I don't drop the other guys. Okay, Gibson Jeru, are you there?
Yeah.
Gibson, are you there?
He dropped off the call back in because you went off for a little bit. So he called.
So how you and Gibson exchanging backyard conversation? You knows everything about him. Keto, are you tapping people lives? Okay, let's go to our man from Oklahoma there, type 405-3418. Are you there?
Yeah, Mr. So, good evening and good evening to your panelists.
Yeah, happy Sunday, my dear brother. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm missing a couple of panelists, man. Where's the liberal and where my brother says it?
Oh, says knocking doors. The liberal now is suffering from political hangover or slam in the last few days. He had not been a good night for the liberal, so he going through post recovery.
He don't know which way to go. He's confused.
That man is still deciding where to go. Okay, go ahead.
So, Mr. Jeru, I think it was on Thursday. Yeah, but thank you for the show. The show is very good. It's all about the country, Mama Liberia, and I know one thing. I know, Mr. So, after December 31st, there will be Liberia. There will be new president. And when you ask me, I will say President will be re-elected. No matter what happens, he'll be re-elected because many of us in Liberia, so Liberian people, I was just talking to somebody from Slow Clinic. And the person myself went to Johnsonville. And the person went there today. I asked him, I said, hi, Johnsonville. I said, Johnsonville now is a big city. They get electricity. They get good road. Say, yes. So I'm saying, President will be re-elected. And when you talk about the ambassador statement where the party is taking it, the ruling party, yes. The ruling party is taking it and we are running with it. We are running with it. So Nigeria is changing. We are running with our statement, and there's no time for the opposition to run with our statement.
We're running here.
Just why the better, all the shows. Even Friday, look at discuss it on ERBC. Look at discuss it. KOK on Freedom FM. AB came and discuss it. And Prince Sherry, everybody discussing that particular statement. So everybody discussing it. So before I leave the line of Mr. Gonglo, Mr. Gonglo was Solicitor General. Let his supporter come on and tell us how many cases he won. What he did when he was at the Minister of Justice. But because the statement that he gave, the press statement that he gave concerning Gloria Musu's car case, to say that it's political, can a Gloria Musu's car stop President Weah from winning the presidency? I said no. She was there 2017. President Weah won, and she will still be there. President Weah will still win. So I think it was very immature on Gonglo part of made a statement to say, the thing the case against Gloria Musu's car was political. Political for what? Mr. So now up you real here. Something happened in your house. There was no intruder in the house. Who you think they will hold responsible? So let the Lord say a quote. I think Gonglo slipped, on a particular thing he was not supposed to make. It's not every issue that he made statement. But like there's a place where everybody got to have press conference to know that they're speaking on behalf of the people. And some of the press conferences they can make mistakes.
Yes, exactly. I know there are a lot of useless and endless press conferences with no result. Yeah. That I know every day, and that's why we don't even waste our time most of the time because some of them just for entertainment. We have too much of drama going on. Let me go to this number here, 701 number 3022. Are you there? Gibson, please call back. I'm not sure why everybody went up.
Gibson talking. This is Gibson number you're calling.
Oh, Gibson Gerald, the legendary.
That's my office number.
Okay, the man, the media global for Councilor Tiawan Gonglo. Those guys, I hate to do this here, but you heard what they say. You heard the other man, let him come and tell us the cases on his watch as Solicitor General. He's no factor. He didn't reach 1%. You heard our analysts here. Look, how serious is the councilor into this whole thing here? How far does he have to go?
First of all, for someone to say that Councilor Gonglo did not win any case while he was Solicitor General, it means the president was not living in Liberia because I covered the courts. I knew very well in my coverage, my personal knowledge of Councilor Gonglo putting behind 7 armed robbers. In my presence, writing about the story, 7 armed robbers case he won and put them behind bars. There were other cases that he won. We don't have a complete catalog of all the cases he won, but it is disingenuous. Someone who has not won any case will be promoted from Solicitor General to Minister of Labor. Oh, how can they promote? How can you get promotion when you have done nothing at the lower level? So these are people who do not understand Councillor Gonglo, who do not know Councillor Gonglo, who do not know his work, and they are trying to find something at all means. All means, they're trying to see if they can find a little thing at least to talk about him for them to have reasons to criticize him. And I heard the brother, I don't know his name, but the brother who said here that Councillor Gonglo shouldn't have described the Muslim glorious thing as political. I personally here, I describe it as political. But let me give you the reason why.
Is it from my opposition, not to interrupt you here? Of course, you are oppositions, and we are in a consequential time, is election time. So they are all politicians. So for the most part, everything would be political. But is it because he's in the opposition, so he took that line, or what? Why is he saying it's political?
No, he's not in the opposition, and he called that political. If that were the case, in the injured that lady who was killed, I can't remember her name, who was killed allegedly by the Lebanese woman. The same Councillor Gonglo who said to the public that the case is not prosecutable. The opposition committee said he said something and he make the woman she will not get justice. They may look at the case and tell you what the case is going to be achieving. Let me give you some indication of why that is a political case. This court have been investigating Councillor or Justice Scott for 3 months, not even 3 or 4 months, from February 22nd. They have been investigating her. Finally, they invited her to the police at the police station, and what did they do? They verbally charged her, put her behind bars. The next day, they had a fabulous press conference describing how the house Loha is impenetrable, all of that. Meanwhile, they have no charge on her until the lawyers of Mususka had to file a habeas corpus, and she was released. What kind of prosecution, what kind of police department will charge people verbally and put them behind bars after you have been investigating her for several months? This is complete malice of police function. And these people who are from the CDC, they only argue this thing because they want to make themselves feel good. This case is completely political. First of all, let me give you another instance. So they charge Musu Scott and the rest of the people with murder. Do you believe that cousin of Justice Musu Scott actually murdered her daughter? Or are they looking for some kind of charge to give her for her to be maybe let's talk about giving false statement to police. I would have said if I were police officer, I would have said let's charge her with giving false statement to police because that would have been prosecutable. But you charge everybody with murder. So in the legal fields, those who are lawyers know in the criminal justice system, if everyone is charged with the same crime, if one person is guilty, everybody is guilty, unless you ask for a severance trial. So if Musu Gloriska does not ask for a severance trial to separate herself from the rest of the family members or daughters, it means that she will be guilty of murder. Do you think it's justifiable? Well, Mususka murder, how to prove murder is that it must be malicious, it must be intentional, it must be planned, it must be executed. Do you really believe that Mususka intentionally, maliciously planned the murder of her own daughter and killed her and they are charging her with murder? This is why Councillor Gonglo said it is political, because what they wanted to do was to score a political point that the government of Liberia under George Weah is not leaving stone unturned, and whoever it is, whether you are big or small, the justice system, the police will arrest you and charge you. No, that is the political language that they want to speak. That is the propaganda they want to put out there.
Can I come in?
So, hold on one second. Is that a 701 number? Or who's the person that? Because it's two different.
This one will just.
Yeah, okay. Hold on one second. Jones, do you want to respond to that? We are almost running out of time.
Yes.
So guys, hold on one second.
Yeah, to be very frank with you, Councillor Gongolo is one of the most respected councillor in our land, and he been helping a whole lot of people. I don't have that statistics, but that's what I've been hearing, and until I can do my research. But to be frank with you, for the honorable councillor to be very subjective, we all know facts, to just categorically conclude that the case is politically motivated, given his status as a presidential candidate. It's like I see him I see him politicizing Councillor Gross issue. Because when you say the case is being if you say this case it has a political motives as a honorable councillor, I'm taken aback. What are your analysis? What are your facts? So everything Councillor Gongo said about that particular issue is highly subjective. So I see him rather politicizing this case for political gain. And that is not good for a honorable councillor that some of all well respect.
Let me come in right here. Let me correct the comrade.
So Gibson,
those who study law is subjective. It's not objective. Law is subjective. So when we say Councillor Gonglo has been subjective in this issue, it means appraising Councillor Gonglo and he's actually practicing what
guys,
he's
can we
doing in
do it
law.
one at a time,
Law
please?
is not objective. Law is subjective. You take the line of the legal process that suits your client, and that will make it subjective. So you're not saying nothing yet, because should be being subjective. He doesn't want to be objective. He's going to speak on the legal lineage that he understands. He's not going to speak for everybody else that suits everybody. So no, you have said nothing yet. But thank you for saying that. That shows that some of you don't know what it means for a lawyer to speak on a legal matter. So Councillor Gonglo was right when he subjectively, legally characterized the case as being political, because he's looking at a potential client. Maybe the man will come for him. Maybe he'll be part of the defense team. He has to pick the line that legally suits his client. That's what we call subjectivity in law. So,
let's have a conversation here a little bit. Thank you so much. Okay, let me deal with hold on 1 second. Let's do it one at a time here. Okay, Keto, are you here with us? Let me get the let me have three persons here, and then we'll come back. I want to be coming back to you, Mali. Let's go ahead. Oklahoma, let's hear from you, and then
Mr. So first of all, let me say to Mr. Gibson and Jeru that when you talk about the police investigated Mr. Scar for 3 months, there's any limitation? Somebody? I said no. No.
Who's call up? Just come in, just lower your monitor, please. We are getting the feedback.
1 year and arrest you. So when comes
hold on 1 second, I give you 412 number. Please lower your monitor.
You missed the issue, my brother.
412, please lower your monitor.
It was wrong. The issue is the police investigated for 4 months, and they finally decided to bring her in for charges, and they did not charge her, and verbally charge her, and put her in bars. That's what I said.
Mr. Jeru, can you give me a chance?
Yeah, okay, but I kept trying to put you on the roll.
When you are in police custody, it takes 48 hours, right?
I'm not even arguing that. I'm saying you're still missing the point. Missing the point.
Hold on. Listen. I come in. Hold on. Gibson, hold on 1 second. I come in. Guys, we talk, we sing together, but we talk. There are others are listening. We don't want people, talking. Let's do it one at a time. You listen to your friend, your colleague. You can disagree with them, but let's do it one at a time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I know, Mr. Jeru, they won't conclude that they'll be a participant. You understand the thing? They'll be a participant. I don't want to elevate him because he's not near me. CDC, the coalition is not near me. So but we're talking about the case. Councillor Gongo is not near me, so he's not near me. So I don't want to argue. But the statement that he made about the case, that Mr. Jeru is talking about,
police arrest you.
Yeah.
When you are in police custody, it takes 48 hours to charge you, to send you to court. Will the 48 hours expire? No. The same thing they were preventing for Gloria Muzuska to go to jail, that's what they were doing. Today, I'm not happy that she's in jail. No, because she served at almost the highest one. She had one of the branches of the government.
This is what I have problem. This is what I have problem with, because then more or less sentiment and empathy is being inserted. Look, and that's a discouraging thing about here. The victim, we are not even talking about the victim. The justice of the victim is being put aside, and people think here Donald Trump here was processed recently until he can have his day in court. So the idea of other people saying, oh, because Gloria Muzuska was a chief justice and was a minister of justice, they shouldn't have done that. I don't buy into it. The president of the Republic of Liberia, when he hold on one second, hold on. When the president,
let me ask the gentleman a question.
Yeah, come here,
I
Gibson.
want to ask the gentleman a question.
Yeah, coming to you, Gibson. You know, we just have to set this thing here. Even the president of the Republic of Liberia, he is not above the law. The law is the law. That's why Donald Trump was fingerprinted and he was processed, and he will have his day in court. So those who are always arguing, oh, she have served it, oh, they do this here, then they are retweeting and reconstructing the laws of the country that anybody, certain people. What's about the ordinary little people go down south of Maryland, Grand Gita, there are some people being killed. We are not here. It's only become a high-profile case because of her past that we can argue, but to say, oh, because she played this role, so we shouldn't question or we shouldn't seek answers to get a question, I don't think that is a good thing. Yeah, Gibson, go ahead.
Okay, the brother from Oklahoma, what's your name? I want to address you properly.
My name is A.B. Khan.
Okay, Mr. Khan. Let me ask you a question. Do you know the averment of the habeas corpus?
The phone line is on.
Look.
Yeah, the call.
Yes
That's total. You can call. We're still taking call. We just got a few more minutes, but you can.
Yes or no, brother? We don't have to waste time. You don't know. Okay, thank you very much. You see, when you argue, okay, you should understand what the people are asking for. You know why Musu was released on the habeas corpus? She was released on the legal premise of constructive custody. You know what constructive custody is? Constructive custody is the police have access to a defendant or a suspect and have repeatedly investigated the suspect. The suspect cannot travel. The suspect reported to the police, and that is called constructive custody. It's from February 2nd to June. That before they call her in, that means that's what the judge granted the habeas corpus because they violated her right to be charged within 48 hours, inclusive of constructive custody. Now, you don't know about that, but that's fine. But let me go back to the issue I was trying to educate you about. And don't be condescending to say you or Councilor Gongola reached your level. It's unfortunate.
No. Hey, guys. My dear brother, let's do that. Let me finish the points. We are already running out of time. We want to make everybody to exhaust their point before
for me to say that George Ria does not reach to my level, or you yourself don't reach to my level, is condescending and insulting. We don't debate issue like that. But let me just tell you what the issue I was discussing. The issue I was discussing is not whether the police does not have 48 hours under the Constitution to charge the person. The issue I was discussing is the police have been investigating her from February 22nd until June, I think June 17 or so, and call her in finally to charge her. And instead of charging her with an indictment or with a charge sheet from the court, they verbally charged her at the police station and put her behind bars and expected her to be behind bars until they go to the court and get a charge sheet or go to the grand jury and get an indictment. The next morning, they call a press conference to describe the situation leading to her charge. Meanwhile, they have not charged her yet because verbal charge is not admissible under our Liberian law. So they didn't charge her at all. It means they were illegally holding her. That is why Councilor Gongola said this is political. Because if you want to do it legally, then you're going to be charging her legally. You're going to get a charge sheet from the courts. you go to get your indictment. If you can't get it from the magistrate court, you go to the grand jury, you draw indictment and pull up beyond bars. If you want it for however, you can do that. But you cannot verbally charge a murder suspect. Verbally charge a murder suspect. It's violating the person's constitutional rights. And those of you from CDC will never understand that and will never accept that.
And I think that's where the fault came from, because I charging her, putting her in cell without that charge letter. I think that was the problem. And another thing I saw, for the police to exhibit the diagram, that could have been something when the case go to court, the district attorney or the county attorney to use that against it. But I don't know why they decided to put that up so early when the case has not even gone before grand jury or whatever. Yeah, but let me see here. Let's go to the other number here. 412 number. Are you there? 412. 412.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dr. Toto, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hearing you now loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah. Dr. Toto, we're hearing you. Go ahead. They are lying here tonight. They're not correct. Are you there?
Let me get my parting word, then let me leave the line.
Yeah, let's do it quickly. 30 seconds, please.
Hey, Mr. So, thank you so much. I always want to come on your show. Thank you so much. And your
Are you gay parting word we saw yet?
So it doesn't mean because do you have to wait for him? I don't know where Dr. Toto number here this evening. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. You put everybody on hold. Yeah, but okay, go ahead quickly, but I don't know why.
The point I wanted to raise, I think Joe is not really following what happened in Liberia when it comes to the case, and also when it comes to politics in Liberia. You want to accuse Councilor Goglo for political or case that just came out. Even when the issue came out concerning the former Chief Justice, it was not the CDC that even came out without a press statement, press statement, and some of the CDC also came out and said, all our CDC arrest for just evidence of Mossadegh for that picking or following the case. So if the councilor come out and make a statement that day, he will accuse the councilor of making a move about political statement. I think Joe just trying to show that we can see a clear indication that he's sedition. That's why he's making all the cases. If they had it somewhere via the blog about him. He total clearly show to us that on the platform that he is sedition. When it comes to objective that's two different things in the legal aspect. Both lawyer not going to go see what happened. People bring their case to lawyer. The lawyer not there so that because suggested that like what case we were talking about. So that's why they will take the case upon the judge. But when you don't come to accuse the council for the incident, it kind of show that Joseph is a sedition that coming out now. We can see.
Okay. So you uncover here. Okay, thank you. I put everybody on hold, so I gotta go back to there. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, guys.
Can I get my parting word?
Yeah, let's do it quickly. We are already out of time.
Hey, Mr. So, thank you so much. Like I was saying, Mr. Jeru, you're my big brother. I respect you. But if you feel offended that I say your candidate is not near us, the CDC and the coalitions, if you feel offended, I'm so sorry. Because after December 31st, there'll be president, and that president will be President George Manuel Weah for the second term. So if you think I belittle your candidate, I'm so sorry. But we're going to elections. We're going to win the elections. While it go for 50 rounds, we're going to win the elections. So, Mr. So, thank you so much for the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate you a lot. You always bring me on your show. I thank you. Mr. Tete, hey, hands up, man. We are in the driver's seat, man. We're taking this thing here. So let it be there, be having,
so the election over now, you're taking it? The election over, you're taking it? Oh, my goodness. Okay, Christopher, make your point quickly, then I'll go to then Kettle and then Gibson, and I'll go back to Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sue. As much as the police in Liberia sometimes I have problem with them. The way they go about investigation is totally different from the police in the Western world. And I guess that they are learning and they are doing their best. But for us to say that we should give people pass because they have certain titles or titles, they hold certain position in the country, I think that's the wrong thing. I believe in law enforcement. Whether before the court of law, if the person is found to be not guilty, that's fine with me. But if somebody commit a crime and they go through the process, they should be charged and they should serve their time. Now for people to say that there's a difference between indictment. That when you indict somebody and you call them and you read their Miranda rights and then you take them to custody, and then the 48-hour rules, all of that, you have to bring them before a judge, so that you can read their rights and all of that before the court can or the judge can decide whether he will accept bail or not accept bail. That's totally up to the judges. Their discretion. Discretion is a very important word you can underline it. You can get all your laws or wherever the judge has the discretion to either accept bond or not to accept bail. And now when I hear people say, oh, the lawyers didn't win, they this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing is wrong yet. All these things are processes. So we can't come in and say, oh, the police were wrong and the police and this was right. And no, nobody is wrong. It's just that they bring the person to the wrong courtroom and they say, oh, no. This judge don't have authority. Let's carry this person to the rightful courtroom, maybe courtroom A or courtroom C or whatever. We stay within the process. So
Christopher,
I just want us to be careful how we approach this issue, and I know that everybody has their view and this and that. But I think for the counselor to just come and say it is political and try to.
So what is Christopher?
The government. I think it was just like premature.
Yeah. So what is
because he comes from a legal background, he understands the law. You cannot come and say it's political. You can't do that. Gloria Mususka to understand the law, and she knows that she can't come and say it is political and there's this wish hunt and blah blah blah. They can't do that because first of all, when somebody dies in your house, you are the first suspect. And then you say you went to Musa Dean's house. Then you say you call Musa Dean. You did not call the police. You did not go to law enforcement. You're talking about a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Master of the Law. You did not go to the police. You went to your in-law, Musa Dean, your former in-law. Musa Dean, y'all got to follow these things the right way.
Okay, so quickly here. What is interesting here, and that's another valid point, because that was something that surfaced. People that she allegedly caught. I haven't heard that directly for herself. I saw, but from prior to investigation. But Gibson, what is interesting here, though, the conferences being held by the police, providing all of these detailed informations with in the absence of the district attorney. Eventually, at the end of the day, district or county attorney going to be there more or less to prosecute this case, to argue on behalf of the government. Why too much?
Thank you very much for that question.
Why too much is coming out here? And I also frown on the exhibit of the police of that video giving the diagram. I personally believe this former Chief Justice, she's a greater presence of interest in that. We have been hearing that she was in the household when this thing happened. So what I want to know, what an internal investigation is being done. Is there anything prior between those two persons, the deceased and the other girl that is there? Who was the last person spoken with? How in the last 1 week prior to this incident? There are a lot of possible things that we need, puzzles we need to pull here and there. But are we yet to know more of it? But that's the kind of place we find ourselves in, how investigations are being conducted. But Gibson, speaking to that point there, why is it going that way?
Thank you very much. For me personally, the issue of the police demonstrating how they conducted the investigation, how they believe that the compound or the yard was impenetrable because it was barricaded by fence They had Cameron and all of these things they were talking about. It was intended to convince the public that they were not witch hunting Gloria Mususka. That's the way I understand it. So we now witch hunting Gloria Mususka. We think that the murder was committed inside and no armed robber came from outside because there was no way that armed robber could come in and kill anybody and run outside. Those are ways the police wanted to convince the public. Okay, that's fine. So you have the fabulous press conference, you had a description, you described the impenetrable nature of the yard and everything. But then you're doing this without charging the woman. You're doing it without charging the woman. That's why President Congo said it's political. So everything they were doing now, they were thinking about politics so that the people will not accuse them or think that they witch hunting and they will not take it political. But you do exactly the thing you don't want to do. Charge the woman formally. Exactly. And she be on charge. Either you can go and get a charge sheet from the magistrate court, which is right, or you go and draw a grand jury. The prosecution has the ability to convene the grand jury at any time. So the prosecution...
Mr. Gerald, to a point, once they cannot they cannot use the word indict. At the moment, when they use the word indict and they put handcuffs on her hands, that means now they're starting the 48-hour rule.
No. That's not what we're saying.
That's what we're saying. You're rewinding the conversation. Christopher, you're rewinding the conversation here.
Listen now, as long as
I'm on the floor, they give me the chance.
Christopher.
You are speaking, I was not talking.
Suggest something.
Hold on now. But you kind of rewind the entire conversation to a different
There are
level.
two ways you can charge a defendant or a suspect in your custody under the Liberian legal process. You either go to the magistrate court and get a writ of arrest with the charges legal. In a writ of arrest, a serving on the person, and then the person get under custody of the police. Within that, with that kind of situation, the lawyers cannot file for habeas corpus in violation of the 48 hours because the person is properly charged with a charge sheet from the magistrate court. Or the prosecution can convene the grand jury immediately, take their evidence to the grand jury, put it before the grand jury vote on it and pass on it, and then they can bring that indictment and serve it on her immediately. She no longer enjoys the 48-hour constitutional protection. Those two things were not done. They verbally told her in a police station that she been charged with murder, making false statements to the police, and criminal conspirator to murder. So that's verbal charge. It does not a thing. This is why the lawyers went to the criminal court and said, look, our client was not charged. Besides that, our client had been under constructive custody from the 22nd of February. The police have been investigating her. She has been under the custody of the police. So there's no way they cannot argue the 48-hour, the constitutional power that they enjoy. They cannot argue that because she been in their possession constructively for more than 3 months.
Okay, let me come in.
Okay.
Hold
on. We are about to wrap up here. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds each now before we go.
Oh no, there's a moderator.
No, I'm coming. You and I, you will close it up before we go.
Charge this suspect. You don't want to learn this.
Okay, guys. Hello, Gibson.
Let me come in.
Yeah, listen.
I don't want you to come out because when you were speaking, I didn't come
Hello.
You're making me to lose my train of thought. You're making me to lose my train of thought.
Yeah, we do
The last
things.
point I want to make is this. They went to the court. That's the most disgracing part. The prosecution argued that the judge should not release her because one, she's a flight risk. Two, that she been under the charge at the police station verbally. Three, that they are already preparing to indict her. Those are the 3 points raised. The judge asked them, do you have a charge sheet? Not the indictment, but just the charge sheet from the magistrate court. No, we don't have it.
Okay.
Did you serve her with any charges? And she held the paper and received the agreement? No, we didn't do that. So then how can you hold her and under the pretense of charging her verbally? So we are going to release her to her lawyer. When you have the charge sheet, when you have the indictment, you can go and rearrest her.
Thank you so
Now,
much,
the
Gibson.
thing they said they were not able to do
Gibson, in 30
what
seconds.
they did the next day. They went and convened the grand jury and charged her with indictment. So why did they charge her with indictment first? They
Okay.
did it the next day.
All right. Thank you so much.
They did it the next day.
But
But they couldn't do it for the first time.
All right.
Why it was political because they didn't do it properly.
Once
And so it was
the president said indictment,
Okay.
She can say it was right. The opposition can say it was wrong. Those who are on the fence can say, I don't know what to say. But for us from the opposition, it was wrong.
the argument here is
Thank you so much, Gibson.
from the day that
Okay.
they indicted the woman and so-called the South B or wherever it is, right? I'm saying that there where the 48-hour starts. Once you indict and you handcuff, you handcuff, you got to bring that person in front of the judge, and it's up to the
Was she
court now to
charged?
decide
The
what
question
they're
is,
gonna do.
was
But
she
to the
charged?
point, all right? To
Was
the
she
point, I
charged?
only agree with, huh?
Was she charged? There's a reason why I brought in the district attorney, because this is
Yeah,
where
she
the
was
police,
charged. That's why they took
the
her
police,
before the court. And now she's what, South B, right?
you tell us.
Okay, the point I want to make is this, Mr. Sue. I'm not, when it comes to this legal thing, right? I don't want the wrong person to go to jail for the wrong thing, and I want it to be done right. We're still going to come to intent, and we're still going to come to reasonable suspicion. All these things will play, right? The police, look, there's a long way into this case. Nobody is guilty here yet. I know that the police recorded the witnesses or the people, the perpetrator or the indictees or all these things. They have it on recording. They will not release all of their evidences into the public right now. They got to keep some, they will present some. I think we got a long way. I think what happened in that house, some people are calling it domestic violence. Some people are calling it, whenever they call it, but I want to stay with the police. I think we all should be patient. I don't think people should be accusing government and saying that the politicians in it. I think the councilor was wrong for saying that. I think he spoke prematurely and it's wrong.
Thank you so much. Those are the views of callers. Guys, thank you so much, Gibson. Thank you as well for chipping in here. Kettle, what's your final argument before I go to Jones?
Yes, thank you so much. I listened to Brother Jerome, right? So this is the thing. Legal technicality has nothing absolutely to do with the actual crime that we're discussing. I understand the legal technicality, and I think the judge made a very good decision to let her go the first time because according to them, all these things were not followed through. But it does not negate the fact that something did happen in the house. Somebody got murdered, and there was no intruder, and the people in the house, the occupants in the house, should give account of what happened in the house. The bigger picture here is, can justice be served? Can we take our attention from this woman of high prestige to bringing her under the common law of Liberia, that no one is above the law, regardless of their status? Let's look at it that way. And I agree with my brother Kibasi. The fact that Councilor Gongulu would come out and say this thing is political, and Mr. Giroux has a law ID. Well, he's going to school to become a lawyer. He was a lawyer. Started following a long time ago. For you to come out and say this thing is political because there was technicality at the beginning of the whole process, I think it's wrong. And I heard my brother Toto also saying that CDC made it political. No, CDC did not make it political. When this incident happened, they dragged and government in it. The opposition drag a government official in the person of Jefferson Koji. It came from the opposition bloc. And then it became a big issue because they were trying to take the crime from the actual scene or the actual representative to bring it straight to the city mayor office. And then where it became a little bit dicey here and there. Even if the found out it was all lies. And it's shocking that the opposition will not even acknowledge the fact that they lied. They were trying to frame an innocent person. It is so disgraceful that they even saying that when we were wrong and we did it, but they won't still bring the blame to political. Whether it's somebody pushing the button because it's a repetition of the government, The fact is, somebody got killed in the house. The police has established that there was no intruder in the house. Are we going to sit down and start to think, then how did it or killing took place? How did this killing take place? Can we sit down and start thinking like that? So let's be honest here. I think Councilor Gonglo, I think he spoke too fast. In fact, because he and the woman is very friendly. The woman called him a certain name when he wanted to visit the woman. And it's like, okay, we are all lawyers, and so we got to be in solidarity with you. And I think that where even the bar association went wrong, all these people went wrong because they protect their own when it comes to crime. Why is she is found guilty today by the court on competent jurisdiction in our country? What are they going to say? What are they going to say? So it's time. Let us give the process a chance and let's see it play out. Another thing to Mr. Jiru.
Yeah, quickly before
Mr. Gonglo does not have, going on now. Mr. Gonglo does not have the political gravitas in our political space at this point. I think that's what the scholar was trying to tell him, that he's not near me, it's not he was denigrating or being or condescending. He was just trying to say, look, this man, when it comes to heavyweight in our political arena, he's nobody. That's what he was trying to say, and that's a fact. I'm sorry you don't like to hear, but that's a fact. He's nobody in our political space. So thank you so much.
Okay, Jones.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being so patient. That's what we do here. We don't sanction voices, even if we don't like it. We choose to listen to the voice view. They came back strong. Are you, our man, Dr. Toto here? What's the war? Declassify you to establish your true identity. Like my man, Royal Mr. So is CDC. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Dr. Toto. This is what the platform is all about, The platform allows us to put forward our smile and our emotion. So I want to thank Dr. Toto for his classification tonight. And I will respond to him at an appropriate time. But back to Mr. Gibson, I just wanted to make a few interjections here for Mr. Gibson and probably to provide some little education about what I said, the objectivity and subjectivity. You see, the Honorable Councilor Gongolo, he does not have monopoly over legal issues in Liberia, but he has been at the forefront of helping people. That statistics is still disputable. That statistic can still be challenged, but it's a fact he's been helping some people. But here is the issue: if the councillor is telling us that this case is politically motivated, and he's one of the legal mind on Goroska case, then I agree with Mr. Gibson that his subjectivity will take root into his analysis in defending her. But if the councillor is outside the wall or defending this woman, and because of patronage or friendship, and he making that kind of statement in his capacity as an aspirant, I think he has just politicized this thing for a political gain. And there where my usage of word subjectivity comes in, because he has to be mindful, because everything he says it go on record. It may harm, it may endanger, or it may save certain things. So at this point in time, we cannot get up categorically and accuse CDC or politicizing or creating a condition to entangle the woman legally and throw her in prison. We cannot say that. So Gongoro is making this statement in her capacity as an aspirant. And if that is the case, then he just misspoke. And that can be very severe for the rest of his campaign promotion when it comes to public relations. If he's making this statement as one of the legal mind defending her, then the subjectivity is in place. But I think what I see here, finally, what I see here is that the councillor, I think there's something I will call conflict of interest right now. There's a conflict of interest right now going on with the councillor and Gloria Scott. And the conflict of interest here is that the capacity he in now, I don't see him as a lawyer. I see him as a presidential material. And I expect him to perform within our scope. Anything beyond that, he will be politicizing certain things. And this is where I'm holding the councillor feet to the fire and also educating Mr. Gilson about the councillor dual role. Thank you.
Okay, that's for the views and opinions. That's what we do here at LPR. And I think, to some extent, we people, the legal minds, they should allow the process to play out. And maybe one of the things, we had a conversation here before in the past. When the incident took place, he went to sympathize, which of course anybody can do. They are colleagues and so. But his statement there was more or less political. Apparently, a homicide was committed, allegedly. We don't know who is the person. His first visit was, this is why you should elect me that will have security. That is so. You are a presidential material. I think when that was fight over the boat. And the GOL, the police, they screw up too, and that's the point I was making there. We see here, and when these things have happened, the police is there to determine whether an alleged crime or crime was committed. We can now say from the outside world that a homicide was committed because there was a victim in this whole case. So the police, they do all of their thing. The next thing we thought of was to turn this thing over to the district attorney, the district attorney or county attorney, whatever they want to call it, to be side by side to look at these press conferences. The police will address the issues of whatever crime. The prosecution aspect will come from the district attorney, what GOL or the government going to be doing to look into the alleged murder of one of our citizens. That wasn't done. They went there, no charge letter, and decided to take her. But the question here is somebody needs to answer the question. How this thing play out? And I know the councillor in the past been raising alarm that there was some sort of threat here. So I'm wondering here, whether there are some sort of cameras there. What has been the internal investigation within? Was there anybody prior confrontation with the deceased and this person here? What are the phone records? What was some of the tension that mounted prior to this incident happening? Who actually witnessed it? And the councillor, the Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice, her speaking out, if we are correct here in what we are hearing, to say that she sprayed somebody who allegedly is an assassin. And when an assassin walks through here, their ultimate goal is to take you down. So we need to know who is this person here. But Jerome Verdant, I don't even give that credit because what they were talking, that was just a nonsense and all of that. And it's quite true. Why? Because when there's a crime here, when there's a potential threat that involves life, the first rescue point here is to call the police, whether we trust in them or not. You call the police for an immediate intervention, followed by, in fact, in our place, when something is going on, what do? You yell help, because the neighbors or people there, I want to know whether there was any call from the neighborhood that there was some tussling or fighting going on within the house, whether they call for help. And if they didn't call for help, why? Why out of 4 or 5 persons would be in a house and apparently someone's life potentially in the making, or someone's life is in the process of being taken away? Why people did not call for help? Why there was no intervention? But again, we do not want to get ahead of our own shadow here. But I believe there's a lot of question needs to be answered, and the former Chief Justice is no exempt to the laws of the land. It can be the president of the land. If the crime, somebody must provide information. I'm going to just kind of concern the reason that police, they're giving too much when they know that a case is going to be going to court. The idea of them, and Gibson were quite correct on that. That is the playing into the narrative or worry what the public out there will be saying, what will be the reactions of the opposition and all of that, try to exhibit all of that. That was not their job. Those information should be kept when a case go to court. The district attorney will be able to effectively prosecute by displaying the diagram there. That's how it's supposed to be. But the police jump ahead going there, and they were doing all their thing without the district attorney, all of that. This is where all of these mistakes come from here. But bottom line, we need to know, and we hope this case, I really do not agree as to whether it's a political case. It can be a political case when it was for, God forbid, like Ambassador Boyka, Councilor Tiawan Gonglo, what his name, Dr. Moniba, and all of those people. She's not contesting for anything. So why would there be some political motivation? She has the right to support whatever party, but that's their argument. But I don't see it that way. I just want the right to.
But Mr. Moderator, let's just look at two hypothetical cases, okay? In the first place, I think Dr. Tutu will come back at me again, but no problem.
Are you worried about that?
Yeah, I'm worried about that because he accused me falsely. The doctor accused me falsely because of he holding my feet because of my analysis. But here is this hypothetical case. I understand people were calling for the lady to be billed. And this case is a murder case. You're not billable. Yes.
They don't know
so
that.
Now, if the CDC judicial system decide to tighten their grip and say, no, the case is not billable, people now with the impression out there that this woman is being targeted. That is the law. That one hypothetical case I want to look through. And the second thing is that if the CDC government, now Dr. Tutu will come after me now, if the CDC government actually wanted to get at this lady, why did she run to the CDC just a minister? That's another question. Okay, so what we are saying here is that the politician, the opposition,
not only the disingenuous into this whole thing, and everybody tries to protect their own. I can call if anything happening within my household here. Before I even call family member, my first line of defense for safety, we'll call the police. I'm not going to call the city mayor. I'm not going to call the governor. You call the police. Whether they answer or not, call the police. Put them on record for that.
Yeah, but here is another. Here is another side of the story. And then this little girl was stabbed. So that means she bled to death. So why didn't the people rush out of the house to look for taxi and rush this little girl to the hospital? Well, that's another suspicion. Okay. Well, and besides that, yeah, Mr. Moderator, I think
what I'm saying, I don't like to get into circumstantial or some sort of conversation. I'm waiting for those who are prosecuting to say that, because if you say it was stabbed, we need to know the object or whatever or use whose possession. It's being fingerprinted. Some DNA sample is there. From which hand it came from, to what hand was there tussling? There must be some sort of that would determine it. That we need to know, and we don't want to preempt as to whether something happened. But the question here is, this thing allegedly took place when people witness it, and those are the people can tell exactly what happens. And Gloria Mususka is no exception to that, regardless of her position as justice or chief justice. She interpreted the law. She was there when his name Samuel said Doki, when this whole Benjamin Yentent and all of those things. Today we do not know. So because Bagbaladent and all of those people, yeah, but we can't say, we can't be selective and pick up pieces of we want law to be enforced in certain places and it cannot be enforced in other places. Somebody somewhere knows exactly what happened, and she can tell us. She can be one of the presidents or the other four that are alive. They can tell us. They can tell her exactly us exactly what happened.
Yeah, but on the flip side, Mr. Moderator,
the victim is the victim issue probably being put aside now. We are looking at the popularity, the characters that are involved. When the victim should be the justice, the ultimate justice of all that happened must be about the victim, and that is not happening.
Yes, but on the flip side, this government has been tinted. Too many killing has been taking place under this government. We don't have the evidence whether the government is involved. So no matter the case, this government will tighten its belt to prove a point that most of the killing going on, they keep accusing us. Extrajudicial killing, mysterious killing, Richard killing, all kinds of killing. So this government is going to do everything to also prove a point that indeed some of the killing, people take it to the court of opinion and conclude is the CDC-led government. So the government will do everything to make sure this judicial system work. And the Honorable former Justice Minister and Chief Justice, she's not above the law. We need to give chance. That's why I found problem with the Councillor Gongolo's statement. He's supposed to give chance for the process to play out. Now he jumped into the middle now. This is going to contaminate the mind of so many other people. And this is one man I have high respect for. And I'm just disappointed for those kind of statement, utterances coming from him.
Okay.
And I want to conclude that his statement is politically motivated. His statement is politically motivated. It had no legal substance.
The councillor's statement, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, to some extent. His first visitation that this is why you should enlightenment. That shouldn't have been his place. You have gone there, you know this lady, you work with it, but at that time, swallow the bitter pill, because anything you say that, you being a presidential hopeful, saying anything, this is why you need to elect people like me so that we have law and order. The connotations of that statement is huge. People will not accept it, but that's a fact. We just have to put all of these on the table. Ty, go ahead, Keto, before we go.
Oh, is Keto still down there? Oh my God.
Yeah, Keto in a protest.
Oh,
yeah. So this is the thing, right? You see from the get-go, people. That's why I tell people we should stop being sentimental. Now, even the Bar Association for taking part earlier in the case, right?
Look at that.
Giving her almost solidarity and supporting her because she's a lawyer. She was former this, former that, and whatever, teaching at the law school, has absolutely nothing to do with the crime. So when these things happen, they should stay away because the Bar Association is a national association. Now the Bar Association should look back. What if this woman is really guilty when they go through the court proceeding? Why are they going to say that? You understand? So these are things they should stay away from. The councillor was very wrong, and I don't know how people look at it. This is wrong. Everybody stay out of this thing. Let the people do the investigation. So, brother, just for your information of our people, our consumer information, listening audience information. When this case started, imagine the people who are the first to give information to the police, refuse to give information to the police. Refuse on numerous occasions. They didn't allow even the police access to the crime scene. That public outcry has to be on them. The police are continuously doing it. Even up to an extent where our legislature all got involved. 20 years as the police. 20 fingers at Jefferson Koji, legislator. That's how bad the whole thing was. The Justice Minister also, who is in connection with this woman because of his relationship with her sister. That was some by her sister. Will also play another role in it. And I yet was the CDC Justice Minister. Yeah, he worked in the government, but he's not a physician. He's a Unity Party man. He was brought on the early government. The fact is, yes,
every little thing can get on yours. Everything can get you know the CDC memo there. So why would you want to speak for Musa Ding? Okay, all right, guys.
That's the fact, and that's the beauty of our government. We don't exclude people because of their party association. We don't exclude people. This is the reason why he's the only one in the government that can differ from the president. But again, we should do the right thing. When somebody does wrong, I don't care if it's your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, and you're in the seat of dispensing justice, dispense justice equally. In that case, where a common person who in his house or in a family house, somebody was killed and there was no intruder, those people will be behind bar. There will be no hippos couples, there will be nothing, they will be behind bar, wouldn't go to trial and all that kind of stuff. But because we put this woman on a pedestal, that she was a chief justice, she was senator, she was this, so she cannot even kill a fly. That's a myth in our society and should stay, because we saw governor of constantly killing their wife and their house and their son. Right here. You see that happen. So we just start this and start so people keep eating within our state.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Malik Jones, thank you so much. You know, that's the problem, that's the challenge we have, and everybody tries to be very protective of their own. So they want to reconstruct the laws overnight because it doesn't favor them. Not even
Mr. Moderator, I don't know whether you have answer for this question. Is Councilor Gongolo one of the legal team? He on the legal team?
No, I was just looking at here, and that's one of the things when I saw this thing. I said, "Oh my God, these are professionals, and these you know, the 31 lawyers, counselors, Anthony. I don't see his name here, unless it was added.
Oh, she having 31 lawyers?
Those that came to her defense said they were standing by her. Now, I don't know which in solidarity with her arrest or to seek justice for the victim. That I don't know. I haven't spoken with any of them. So this is a kind of convoluted one here because this is to suggest how polarized. This is to suggest how polarized the country is because the dead who needs justice, we are not even talking about. We are not talking about the dead. We are not seeking justice for the dead, but we are looking at characters that are involved or allegedly been accused of, you know, something say they are standing with her, but it is why it is, and that's the dangerous. And Mr. Tapper asking,
that's sad.
Tapper, what Mr. Tapper asking, so can someone please answer me these questions? We have 3 months to elections in Liberia. Are these candidates not going to do any debate ever? I wish I knew the answer, and that's what we have been talking about the debates, Mr. Tapper. Are we discussing? Are they telling us their policy? Besides just say I will do this? No. Are they telling us their policy? Are they willing to come clean to tell exactly who they are, what they represent? We would love to see that happening. And this is where the media institutions, the advocacy group in the country, all weak. They are all contaminated. So nobody going to listen to them because by this time you're supposed to have a pro-democratic democratic group or advocacy group or some sort of independent group start organizing something for presidential, even the Senate or the representative, the legislature. They all need to have this national conversation. But unfortunately, it's not happening. Mally Jones, thank you so much for chipping in here. So to Dr. Toto point, was it on point? Or you
yes, I think lastly, let me just address Dr. Tutu. I think Dr. Tutu is coming from the background where when you become overly objective, they tend to hold your legs to the fire. I think this is where Dr. Tutu is coming from. Because it's like, I have no shareholding in the CDC government. I play my role as an analyst to be quite objective about what's happening. The councillor is a wonderful man. I respect him. He's a family man. And I support his zeal to really run. But in this case, the councillor really err. And it is because of that basis, Dr. Toto is holding my leg to the fire. I just being a bit objective about that. If the councillor was one of the legal minds within on this case, okay, then he can make any kind of statement, but he got to be careful the statement he made. He may jeopardize his own case.
So why were you one get mad with Dr. Toto here? Because our man already
Dr. Toto, he has no facts. He just assumed me on the basis of my analysis. That all Dr. Toto will tell you, Mr. Moderator.
What will you say about same way analysis? Mr. So is in his CDC jacket tonight again. All of his analysis are in favor. And sorry, this is what people don't like. People don't like for people to say the truth. The day you say, one day we're in the opposition, and part of the reason is the expectations of from the opposition. You are looking for a job. You have to do something extraordinary. You have to cut through that corridor. You have to put your prove your point. But unfortunately, it's not happening. And I don't know why Councillor Gonglo spoke to that point. So I'm wondering here, if he was the president of the Republic of Liberia and worked with this person here, and such a alleged homicide is committed, will he come and speak out? Will he say this something? You can't do that. That's a double standard.
No, but Mr. Moderator,
process to play out.
Yeah, if the case, let's just assume if the case go,
the jacket to put on.
Yeah, if the case go the opposite direction and the councillor is found guilty, trust me, a lot of people going to hold on to the perception of Councillor Gongolo's utterances. Say yes, the thing is politically motivated. There's a reason why he should have back his utterances and let the thing play out by itself.
Okay. Dear brother.
Okay. Okay. On the flip side, let's say the ANC political leader and Ambassador Boakai making this statement. Well, I cannot hold their legs to the fire. They are making political statement to consolidate their political campaign. But this is a legal mind turned politician now using his legal analysis into politics. I mean, that compromises the whole lot of things. That's why I stay hanging on Councillor Gongoro that he make the wrong pronounced proclamation this evening or whatsoever time he made it.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's disprove Dr. Toto point.
Okay. I want to challenge Dr. Toto. To become a member of a political party, you must have a membership card. Dr. Toto will have to prove through that evidence. 2, Dr. Toto will have to go into the database of the CDC to find out whether I'm enlisted anywhere around there as a member. Thirdly, he got to really prove to me whether I'm a due paying member. And fourthly, CDCians are here. They have their agency all over this place, their organization, their party. And Dr. Toto will have to justify which one of these groups I'm in Rhode Island or Philadelphia or Minnesota. He will have to show. So those are the evidences, Dr. Toto. I will have to hold his leg to the fire to produce those evidences.
I need to ask my man because I get a text here from Dr. Toto said your membership is in Milwaukee. So I'm in Milwaukee.
Okay. Then every membership I got a code number. He has to give me the code number and the time I did the registration, what year.
Why are you getting so technical with auto?
No, Dr. Toto will have to prove his point. He accused me, and there's a serious case. And I told you that Dr. Toto is basing his conclusion on my analysis. Because when he came, he defended Gibson that the councillor was right.
Yeah, but Gibson is the global media chair. So who you think Dr. Toto want to come in defense with?
You see? So there where Dr. Toto is coming from, no other evidence, nothing. And if that where he coming from, there is circumstantial. It don't have boom, it's not strong. For Dr. Toto to rather convict me of being member of the CDC political machinery. I just been very objective here. The councillor misspoke. And secondly, this is conflict of interest. If a councillor, he was not a councillor at all, just an ordinary politician, I would just say, well, he had just politicized this thing and we'll move on. But this is one of Liberia's dependable, well-admired legal mind.
Right.
And I respect him a lot. And so I'm just disappointed tonight.
Disappointment is part of daily life because you have to get appointment and disappointment. In the absence of disappointment, life is incomplete. I guess we're not going to really get a conversation about good day. You're getting power.
I know, Mr. Gibson will want to come back.
Okay, let me give my man. We are kind of long way. Let me give him 2 minutes. Gibson.
I can't stand the fact that the guy will just go like that, man.
I knew it. I told you, Casey will want to come back.
Oh my goodness. I just watch it and it may just punching and punching.
But Gibson, let's turn the camera off here and pretend here. The counselor and the reason people, and I'm one of the opinion that his statement is more or less, he put the horse before the car. When he visited which of course he has the right to do. But you saw the video, right? His statement. Was that right?
Yeah.
Was that right? Let's be honest here.
Yes, it was right because the counselor look at the event leading to the arrest and on the non-charging of the individual.
I'm not talking about prior. The one I'm talking about prior to even that time they have not arrested. When he went there to sympathize and say, "This is why you need to have me to be the president." All of these things will not happen. That was a political.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So I think, well, the counselor tries at all costs to remind people at every level.
Hey, the legendary. You better reconstruct now.
Mr. Gibson, I give her
governance and security is paramount. And what he was saying was not insensitive to the death of the individual, was not insensitive to the plight of the people, but he was reminding everybody that he was trying to capture or captivate attention to the way security is done in. You know the kind of information that was going around. The information was that armed robber went in there and killed somebody. And he went there, he tried to indicate, and which he had always done, to talk about the plight of the Liberian people based on the increase of armed robbery.
So quickly, if I get you right, the the counselor was acting on the prevalent information, first-hand information at the time.
Yeah, because you say the information went wide and said armed robber went in there.
Is that why he was acting on?
So the counselor tried to every time he had the opportunity, he tried to tell people that, look, security, government of George Weah has not taken security very seriously. And so when he get into power, it's going to be the number one thing he's going to prioritize. So when he bring him at his level now, when he make the kind of statement at certain events and certain happenings, it bring the conversation to a head. And that's what he was trying to do. But it was not intended to downplay or not to downplay anything, but he was trying to bring the conversation, to elevate the conversation to the level of insecurity.
Was that appropriate at the time, his first visit to sympathize, to make he being a major stakeholder, actor? Was that appropriate? Or it would have been done at a little press conference to more argument his case on his watch? There will be full law enforcement here. Was that appropriate at that time?
Some people who do not support him will say not appropriate. Those who support him will say it is appropriate because he used a specific event to highlight a particular. You can see in America when something happened in New Orleans, the president was standing and say, "We try to pass law to stop this thing, but Democrats are not allowing us to prove." They always use an event to bring an issue to a head.
That's the beauty when you get a rightful people to channel your message. You don't struggle because they will know how to read.
I agree with you on that part too. You and myself, we are both journalists. We got that kind of instinct that if I were a journalist and I wanted to make that comment,
maybe I will arrange a fabulous press conference. But you know, these political campaign, these political leaders, they have a different way of thinking about issues. We will not sometimes understand them. We always think it's wrong until at a certain point, then we realize that, oh no, I don't think it's wrong. You know, so yes, so I think the councilor feels for the people, and he feels that the security situation was not good, and he decided to bring it to highlight at the level of the national discussion. Now we are talking about it. We are talking about it because he said that. He brought it to a head. If you're not going to say anything that day, nobody's going to discuss it. We're discussing it now. That's why he wanted the debate to be on. But though, I wanted to respond to Mr. Malay. Mr. Malay, your punches were hurtful. I would take them in good faith. But the councilor, like I said from the beginning, when the police has a prerogative to actually investigate. I'm one person who believes in the rule of law, and I believe in the police action. The councilor does too. That's why he has a 10-point and emphasize police action, that no political leader will interfere with police action. It's in one of the 10 points of Better Liberia by Councilor Tiawanse Konglo. But here is the thing, brother. If you want to do the job, do it right. They know the law. They know that when you arrest a high-profile person like that, you dot all the I's across all the T's. How come this person will be arrested? You know it's going to bring sentimental issue. You know it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. You arrest the person, put the person behind bars, and has not charged the person. The next day you call a fabulous press conference to describe all the tenets whereby the person is in jail illegally. This is where the political aspect came in. When the councilor said this is political, the councilor believed that Councilor Mususka, if she's found guilty, if their evidence are there and they prove it, she can be found guilty and she can be held accountable. The councilor got no secret cow. There will be no secret cow in a Tiawan Gonglo government. If you are a big person, you commit crime, you will be brought to justice, and the councilor will like justice to be done, but not with the mistakes and the hyperbolic attitude of the police.
Thank you so much, Gibson.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The legendary
Mr. Moderator, can I ask Mr. Gibson one question? Then we'll just close.
Before Gibson said you punching a call back here. But this one,
Mr. Gibson, I stand olive leaf. If I ever did that, maybe I was misdirected.
The man will take ibuprofen. That pain will go away.
But anyway, here's my question.
To whom?
I went to the councilor platform, and trust me, he has a fabulous and fantastic platform. But what was conspicuously missing in that platform is specifics. Can you respond to that?
Gibson, go. We want us to already get this here. Good night.
Gibson decided to go.
you want to another point for Gibson to call in again. Jones, thank you so much for your time this evening, man.
All right.
Okay, folks, we want to thank you so much. Gibson, no. I beg you. The knife going out. Folks, thank you so much, and for your time, your comments, your tweet. We always enjoy having conversation here with you on this network. Always see your comments, your suggestion as to how we can enhance the capacity of quality broadcasting conversation. And please just bear with us. Not everything we want to say. We give our views, we give our opinion, and we know how you guys protect your own. That is also okay. That is what it's all about. Be persuasive in your argument. You know, don't be temperamental. Listen to it, digest, and be able to gather something that you're going to be firing by. Until then, folks, have a pleasant event until we see you again. I'm Alfonso Z, and so in this special edition. Have a pleasant night. Bye-bye.